We're going to get started with your flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Here.
God, we ask you to be present in this meeting today, to be in our hearts and our minds, to guide the commissioners as they make decisions in the county. We ask you to protect and watch over employees, and we ask God to pour out your blessings on this county. I pray in Jesus' name.
What's going on? My chair seems a little something wrong with it here. I don't know if it's
They're using
switched
me.
out, Jim, didn't you?
Oh, I know who got the bad chair. I felt it more than once.
I reviewed the minutes. I'll make a motion that we approve them.
I second it.
We moved in second. We approved the minutes from last week. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Cindy, what do you got?
Got it.
Abatement is 2020-176. I'll make a motion that we approve it.
Second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. And we got the bills somewhere.
Yeah, I think
Is that the?
got them. Okay. I've read them over and I make a motion to approve the bills for $276,977.30.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor of paying our bills in that amount? Aye.
Was there a second payout too, or did you? I had two.
Do you have anything right off the bat?
Is he gone today in training?
Yeah, there was something on Outlook that said he was in trainings. Just one page, I guess.
Okay, here's the sheriff's monthly spending report from the 23rd, dated $3,705.
Yeah, these are the fees that are coming in.
Yeah, these are the fees.
Here for you.
There you go. Yeah, what else?
I got two of these. to go through.
Receipts for the month of February, $7,792.97. Expenditures,
Go
five,
on down the line, total.
yeah, well, $5,133.72 for a total of $8,622.39. Thanks for receipts. It sounded better. And expenditures were $20,059.48. So those are the park report, sheriff's report.
And I just need a motion from you for the sheriff, to approve the sheriff's report.
Okay, I'll make a motion. We accept the sheriff's, what are we calling it? Fee report.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yep.
That's it? David's not here, so we did a little bit. We did it the Cindy way, which is good. All right, let's get the, not you, no, you get up there, Bill.
Bill Matlock, River City, with the update on construction of your jail project. The 5-week look-ahead schedule I gave you last week, just basically continue on. We had a good week last week. Weather cooperated. Got a lot of rock down on the LVC. This week we'll continue on with underslab rough ends, foundations, site utilities. Plumber will be on site this week sometime. We'll get him started inside the building, but progress was good last week. So don't see anything that's in the near future as far as a problem or anything like that.
Another good week, hopefully, with a little bit of rain maybe later on.
We'll let it rain off a little
Yeah.
bit. It'd be great.
There you go. You guys got any questions?
I don't know.
I did talk with the pastor on the church on the northwest quadrant off there about parking, and he did agree to that. And we agreed to either pay them or do some gravel on their parking lot or whatever. So that
You're going to take care of them.
Yep, we'll take care of them.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
thank you for the suggestion. So,
Appreciate it.
all right.
Thanks, Bill.
guys.
You want to see the, pay request, current pay request?
Did we already?
Was it in this week's bills? I don't think so. The pay request number 6 totals $433,750.
When's it got to go out?
It'll go out next week, I think, probably.
I don't know what that ones you have.
Let's give it to Cindy and let her look at it.
Well, it'll come in to them.
Yeah.
They'll probably get an email.
Oh, yeah.
Do you need her?
No, we'll write you a check.
Yeah, so go out next week, yeah.
Yeah, I think you might want to look at the sporting
Gotcha.
document. That's what you sometimes do.
Yeah.
Just look at it at your leisure, give it back to them.
Sheriff's not here, so AMR, you get to go.
My name is Galen Anderson, Operations Manager with American Medical Response, and I have for you our monthly report for the month of February. I'll just go through the cities. Wasn't as they were kind of congregated to less cities this time around, so it'll be quicker. Give you some time back. Centerville, we had 3 calls and 1 transport. In Lacine, we had 27 calls and 17 transports for the month. Linn Valley, we had 8 calls and 5 transports. Mountain City, we had 24 calls and 14 transports. Parker, we had 4 calls and 2 transports. Pleasanton, we had 28 calls and 13 transports. And in Prescott, we had 6 calls and 5 transports for a total of 100 requests for service and 57 transports. Then I have it broken down by district. District 1, we had 37 requests and 20 transports, and our average response time was 9 minutes and 44 seconds. In District 3, we had 36 requests and 22 transports, and our average response time there was 10 minutes and 57 seconds. In District 3, we had 28 requests and 15 transports, and our average response time there was 14 minutes and 15 seconds. And just to review, the response times for District 3 are an average of both the supervisor first responder unit as well as the ambulance that's sent in to transport the patient. And all those response times are averaged, which is why the response time looks a little bit higher on that district. So our total average response times for all requests for the county for the month of February was 11 minutes and 24 seconds. And then we were scheduled to have 1,680 unit hours in service, and we actually went over that by 1 hour. So we were a little over 100% as far as filling out our deployment schedule. And then flights out for February, we actually had 5 transports out by helicopter, and the breakdown is 2 of those were traumas, 2 were cardiac events, and then 1 was a significant respiratory event. So that's the data for March, for February. So far for March, we're at 10 transports for the month. We still have 1 full-time paramedic out for a medical, and we expect her to either be back in the next month, probably. And we're also on track to be able to backfill her at least temporarily with one of our EMTs who's getting close to gaining her paramedic certification. In the meantime, we're just backfilling that position with other employees who pick up extra shifts. So I'd like to introduce one of our new employees, Michael Thompson, is a part-time paramedic with us, who's almost at the end of his orientation. So he's riding with Derek Kabelka for one of his training shifts today. So we're happy to have him in our part-time pool. He's also a full-time paramedic in our neighboring Miami County. So good knowledge of the area. I think that's all I have. Any questions for me?
Is there no calls at Blue Mound at all? Or is that figured into somewhere else?
No, for the month of February, there wasn't.
Okay.
They're all healthy down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the response time, I mean, that's from the time you leave.
So the response time is calculated from when dispatch gets the
Calls.
request
It's the
until
call
our ambulance is on scene.
is on the scene.
Except for District 3, where they have a supervisor. He gets dispatched. As soon as they call, that time starts, but he may be there on scene prior to the ambulance arriving. You take the average times.
Yeah,
He's the one at Centerville, correct?
that's
Can
right.
he do anything when he gets there, the supervisor? Has he got equipment to
Yeah, he can.
stabilize or whatever you call it?
He can do everything that any of our paramedics can do on all our ambulances. But since he doesn't have a partner, he doesn't transport. And so we've talked at time. I've brought up the idea in the past of if we want to change how we're calculating that response time, and we've chosen to leave it and just to keep educating what that data really means. But he has all the same equipment and medications and capabilities than same as all the ambulances have.
So you take his average, his time and the ambulance's time and average them to get your response.
Yep. So if he has, and we calculate it the same. So from the time the request comes in for him, the clock starts until he gets on scene with the patient.
Okay.
So say he has a 5-minute response time, and then the transporting unit, maybe from station 1, has a 15-minute response time. We would add that up, and it would average out to a 10-minute response time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we talked about it, Jim, but we did look into a third.
I know you talked
Yeah,
about
it
that.
was
I know.
quite a bit. So $170,000 more.
But
For one person.
in reality, a patient here that has a fully staffed ambulance show up, they're going to be evaluating the patient and starting treatments and getting the patient stabilized for 10 minutes or so before they leave anyway.
He's doing the
And so he's
preliminary
doing the
work
exact same
for-
thing. He's doing the assessment, figuring out what's going on, maybe, running an EKG of the heart, starting medications. And it's usually, just good timing for when the other ambulance shows up to transport the patient.
Right.
They're all packaged and ready to go. So,
Truck's supposed to be here this month?
yeah, I'll get an update on it. It should be here in the next month. So we purchase it from Ford, and then it gets sent to another vendor that does all the outfitting and does the paint wrap scheme and sets it up with lights and sirens and all that. Configures it for our needs. So it's there being worked on. So it should be showing up in the next month or so.
Awesome.
Yep. And then here locally, we'll get it customized with like the serving Linn County language that we put on the vehicles. And
Do you have a card?
yeah,
Can I get one?
You bet.
Give us all one in case. I got Jason's, and every time I want to call you, I just call you names because I don't have your number.
you bet. That's my email. Cell number right there.
I don't know how busy you are, but if you can hang around just a little while,
Yeah.
and I'll let you know if there's anything I want to talk about.
Sounds good.
Thanks. Chris, you want to go? And that's called what again? E? Okay.
Good morning, Chris Martin, Linn County IT Director. A year ago, I came and we signed up for a product called Know Before. It's time to renew. I would like to renew. This is the product that we do our security awareness training with all the employees throughout the whole county for spam, phishing, smishing, all the stuff that could potentially come in. In the past year, it's been pretty successful. The thing that we like a lot about it is it tests their knowledge. So not only does it give them training and allows them to pass a training that's just an online, like a 15-minute deal up front, then it tests them. It sends out test messages, and some of them are harder than others as far as it tries to get you to click on something maybe you shouldn't. And then if they do that, it simply tells them, hey, this was a test, and maybe we need to do a little more training with that individual as to what to look for. There's a lot of other benefits to it, training-wise for, I know the clerk's office, we've looked at things. They just have a ton of online training. It's an online training platform. So I'd like your permission to renew the contract. And it's already budgeted for in 2021.
Any questions?
No, it's the clickbait thing, right? Is that what?
That's part of it. That's correct. So
And you have to train again?
yeah, I could send you one. Yeah, so it basically sends you through some really, really well done training videos, and also provides us with some content so we can do in-person training, and that's what we hope to do this year. Jason's been the one kind of heading up this program, but we want to try to work more with the departments, and as individuals either are unable to pass the test, we've had a couple, not many, the vast majority have done a great job, or some people have just requested more. But the big thing that we really liked about this, we can train till we're blue, but if we don't test on that knowledge in the real world, it almost becomes useless to us.
Right.
So
Is this duplicating any process that maybe the clerk's office already has? Any training? No, it's not. Did Cindy pass?
yes.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to sell you, just for Danny's information and Jim's for that matter, the sheriff's office, there's certain departments that are required to have security awareness every year, every other year, and this qualifies within that structure. So, and it allows us to document that they took it, they passed it, and then we put it on record. So that meets our CJIS requirements and those kinds of things.
So you're saying they're required and all we're doing is just passing it on to everybody else?
Exactly.
Off the same, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Anybody?
What do we do, or what do you do if someone just refuses to mess with it? I mean, what do you?
So we haven't had anybody that's really done that yet. We've had some that didn't enjoy the training format, the online training format, and some were just kind of hesitant to do it. I don't have a good answer. We'd have to cross that bridge when we got there.
I think it would become a condition of employment probably.
Or at least email, shut them all down.
Well, and we've discussed with commission that obviously if they just, I suppose, refuse or failed horribly, we may have to kind of pull back on some of the network access just to, don't allow them to go on the internet until they've shown awareness that I shouldn't be clicking on these things.
Gotcha.
I don't have anything.
Oh, we're very much firewalled. Yeah, but, I liken firewalls to a bouncer at a bar. That I put a person at the door and they're checking IDs, but somebody could slip through because they're crafty, or I can just lock the door. So, training like this is better for everybody to know how to lock that door as opposed to relying on one thing. We have a lot of systems and a lot of infrastructure that is internet-based or at least connected. So we have a significant footprint that we try to protect, and this has been very helpful. Especially in showing some individuals that, they get that email and it says, hey, you've got a PayPal that you owe $93. We get the phone call. I never did anything on PayPal. You're right, you didn't. So please don't click on that,
Right.
because then they go in there and they enter their information, and that's how they get it. And no firewall would block such an attack because the individual basically, yeah.
Okay.
You need a motion to approve it.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve the
No before.
Nobi for a grand total of $2,484.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Harding.
Burton Harding, County Attorney. Really not a whole lot to update you on today. I guess the only thing is I want to publicly thank Mr. Martin for helping us out. I've mentioned to you a few times, I've had a lot of problems with the software that we've got and some of the hurdles or complications that brings us. And I've taken some of those concerns, Mr. Martin. He's come up with some solutions and helped us out. And we've got a really good system right now for note taking, and it's kind of expedited our internal, searching of files and all that. So we're in a better spot today. So that's going well.
You're becoming a regular here, and we like that. But I was wondering if there's a report that you could give us that would be appropriate to give to us is in I have 109 cases I'm working.
Sure.
We've got 2 murders in the last 3 years or whatever it is, something to that.
Yeah,
that would
I'd be
beneficial to the public to know.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to prepare a report like that. I'll have to kind of talk to the clerks and see about how to get those numbers, but I will do.
Certainly not to jeopardize anything.
Sure,
but
sure.
What's appropriate would I think it would be beneficial.
You're not thinking weekly report.
No, just maybe a monthly report.
Sure,
Yeah,
I can do that.
yeah.
All right, I'll get that information for you.
Thank you, sir.
All right,
Anybody got anything for him?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
thank you very much.
I have some numbers from Doug Bartlett.
Okay.
Fire department calls, 115 year-to-date, 43 calls for service for the past week, 2 medical assists, and 43 grass or brush fires. He also wanted to report that there's a marginal chance of severe weather for Wednesday and Thursday.
What about the health department? Did she send over anything?
I don't have anything from her.
That's why I got them waiting. Need Jackie. He's never been in this.
It's on the schedule.
Yeah, 10:05.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Jackie Messer, Public Works Administrator. I wanted to touch base with one thing. There's some people, I wanted to wait another week on the opening of the oil bids where I could properly advertise it. We didn't get it in the paper in time. So I think I'd like to wait another week and open them next Monday.
Right.
Those who have submitted bids, I think they'll be fine, or they can resubmit their call. But all it is a solicitation to say we are accepting bids for the oil.
And how many gallons are we buying?
I don't know offhand. It depends on the job. It'll be in the information packet we send out.
Okay.
An estimate of how much. Some of the stuff, I don't know if the sheriff touched on the house moving saga. House is still out there on Nickel and 1150. They're still trying to get permits. Before anybody can move it, there's one section at the court or at the 4H before it can be moved, has to be released by the highway patrol because they have it locked in place. And hopefully they've been working with Andy, we're asking for specific information. I want copies of the insurance and stuff like that.
But just to be clear, right now, the holdup is highway patrol. They got listed like 10 things.
Yeah.
Had to get done.
To satisfy highway patrol, they had it done.
Okay.
Yeah, the mechanics got to get out there and look at the trucks, and one of the operators has to make sure one of them was overloaded. We did move one a short distance because it was interfering with but I checked with the sheriff first. So,
So is that road still closed down?
pardon?
Is that road still?
Yes. Because
And I've been working with Heartland because they're not real happy because they can't, it's tough for them to get into their substation right there. But that's where the highway patrol told them to park it. That's what they did. So they're not allowed to move it. I don't want to move it. I mean, it's, last I knew, Heartland was going to run the route Friday and give them a indication of if they were going to approve it or not. So it's still a lot of working parts on that. We still are taking looking for seasonal positions. I think that goes through Friday. Also the mechanic position and the equipment operators are still out on the street. We're going to be doing crack sealing again this week. Still working with the Lake region on the Unpleasant School. We should have a meeting this week with the parties on that to figure out what we can do to work with them. I want to try to present a 5-year plan on the asphalt operations, but we'll be working on that again this week. I got meetings with Todd to try to get it in a spreadsheet and put everything so it's understandable of where we're trying to go. I gave you guys that airport winter operations plan. Can I go ahead and just say we're going to use it? Was there any questions on that?
I have no questions on it.
Okay, that'll just be an internal policy that now everybody's on the same page of what to do. I do need some more signatures on, David gave me Southwick gave me the noxious weed management plan. I didn't bring it last week that needed signatures.
Is this the one we turn in annually?
That's a different one. It has to be turned in with that report. And it just has the specific goals of spraying and the program goals. Just a management plan required by the state.
Basically, the report tells us what you did last year, the plan tells us what you're gonna do next year.
And he got it to me this morning, said he should have sent it last week, but he forgot to include it in that plan. He's out this week in,
Okay, keep going.
okay. He's out this week doing training in Manhattan for weed program. I talked to Gordon Parks Museum. I'm going to work with them this week. The compactor agreements and contracts, I was going to get you a list of recommendations because we still need to do that. And pretty much, I think, I don't know if I gave this to Mr. Johnson. I think I gave you guys all copies of it, how we work the work order requests. The fact that we call them into Joyce, she immediately does one. I think I handed those out a while back.
Have they increased just the public doing them or not?
Are we getting more of them?
Yeah, I know. Has the public increased requesting them online or not?
Yes. Well, I think a lot of them now are just calling. I think the online is down. I think they know that they can just call.
Chris, give me a frown back here.
Yeah, I know. It's still online. No, I didn't say it wasn't. I said, but a lot of people are not.
He means down in numbers, not.
Oh, okay.
No. Down in numbers. I think a lot of them have found out that Joyce is pretty easy to work with and talk to. And
So it's easier for them.
So they'd prefer to call her, and that's what they pretty much do.
Okay.
And I need a 5 personnel and a 15 legal.
Okay, we're going to make a motion that we sign all 3 commissioners sign the 2021 management plan for noxious weeds. That's my motion.
No, second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Jackie, I got a quick question about the marina. Is it open on the weekends?
Yes.
It's open Saturday and Sunday, both all day?
Yes.
And it's closed on what? Mondays, Tuesdays?
No,
The marina's never closed?
summer operations.
Summer
It's open 7 days a week. Winter operations, it drops to 5.
Okay. Okay.
Does the clerk need a copy of this?
Exactly so.
What's the hours of it?
We open at 8, I think 8 to 4, 4:30. We used to run after, or evening shifts too, but I didn't think it was as cost effective. So plus it was hard to find somebody to work that many hours, or a part-time one. So we pretty much cut back on the part-time so that we can, and that machine is going to be taking a lot of the reservation stuff too. So
They want to, we're not.
we're
When are
trying
we
to.
gonna get the software for that?
Ventec, where we at in Ventec?
Sean was getting the credit card thing set up. That was it. Everything's.
Yep, everything's ready to go, just need the credit card info. And I'm not quite sure, I'd have to get an update, I don't know, I'd tell you, and I'd be guessing.
Okay. You got anything else?
Nope,
You need an executive session?
15 for legal and 5 for personnel.
What about you, Gary? Do you need legal?
Yeah. Just get me a copy.
Cindy, do you need anything in executive session?
No, I don't.
Jim?
No, I don't need anything.
I don't either. So we're going to go into executive session. That'll be my motion. 15 minutes for legal and 5 minutes for personnel with Jackie Messer. Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Unfortunately, most of it was inside.
Yeah, that's,
We're ahead of schedule.
You are.
You can look on that campaign stuff that you went to. It's
That what? On this,
all that pay request that was.
all for this here.
No,
I haven't looked at it.
go ahead.
Okay.
Get you stirred up early.
Huh?
Get you stirred up early. uh, well, it's not 10 o'clock, but is there any public comment today? I'll open it up for that. Close it for that. And Tisha, you're up.
Good morning, Tisha Coleman, Linn County Health Department. I'm going to start out with the COVID update. Total Linn County cases, 767. Active is at 20. Deaths is at 12. Current residents hospitalized, 0. And clusters is at 0. We did have, so total tested as far as with our machine is 39. And we are going to go ahead and open that up to, we were doing symptomatic or exposed. We are going to open that up now to if anybody needs pre-op or pre-event testing, because that's kind of the, I say push is like people needing pre-op, for pre-op procedures and then pre-event. Vaccination update, we are at 1,340 pandemic vaccinations given, and 910 of those are prime doses and 430 of those were boost. We did have our 2 drive-in and park mass vaccination clinics last week, vaccinating 240 on Wednesday and 290 on Friday, which 530 given in those 2 days.
What's our total that you've vaccinated so far?
1,340. 910 prime.
And how many do you have to go for the, are we still out of the age of the elderly that we were doing? And
So phase 1, of course, if there's anybody in phase 1, we can still obviously do those. Phase 2, I would say for phase 2, we are approaching the end of our phase 2 and probably ready to move on to phase 3, but we have been told from Kansas Department of Health and Environment that we need to wait on the governor to give us that approval.
so if you receive vaccines for that, you're not going to use them?
We are continuing to vaccinate.
Sure.
And we're due to the weather this week, we're going to do a clinic at the health department on Friday, and we're taking appointments all week for that. And then we're also going up to Evergy to do a clinic up there.
Okay.
To vaccinate their people. We did receive 100 doses of the Johnson & Johnson, which is the Janssen.
One shot only.
One
right?
shot, and that's, I believe, the one that we're going to go ahead and do with Evergy,
Okay.
so that we don't have to go back up there. I would like to point out that if we've not had the support and assistance from school nurses, student volunteers, clinic nurses, AMR, the Linn County Health Departments to include Public Works, Emergency Management, Fire, and the Sheriff's Department, that our drive-through vaccination clinics would not be possible. Takes a lot of work that goes into that. Just want to, again, thank the teamwork, partnerships, and support for everyone who has assisted with the response during the pandemic. We're still looking for volunteers, and volunteer nurses are needed. Okay, so now I'm going to talk to you about the health department and give you kind of an overview of what the health department does.
Do you have any handouts or anything?
I do, in just a second.
Okay.
So according to the CDC Foundation, public health is the science of protecting and improving the health of people and their communities. Linn County Health Department work promotes healthy lifestyles, detects, prevents, and responds to infectious diseases, is concerned with protecting the health of the entire population, preventing problems by implementing educational programs, recommending policies, administering services, conducting research, and working to limit health disparities. So the local health departments are committed to helping Kansans achieve optimal health by providing what's called foundational public health services. And I'm going to list those services and then I'm going to kind of go into a little more detail with each service, if you will. Communicable disease control, health promotion, chronic disease, and injury prevention, family health, which is like maternal child health and access to care. As far as communicable disease control and prevention goes, we improve the quality, this service improves the quality and longevity of life for citizens by decreasing the incidence of death and disability from infectious diseases. Linn County Health Department conducts public health programs for the prevention and control of communicable diseases, including immunizations, tuberculosis, sexually transmitted diseases, and HIV and AIDS. Disease containment, there's approximately 70 diseases that are reportable that we must investigate and report to the state on some of those. Some of those are to include whooping cough, rabies, Lyme disease, measles, we had that a few years ago, chickenpox, lead investigations, clearly COVID, which is what we're responding to now. Those are just a few of the 70 diseases. The immunization program works to prevent vaccine preventable diseases to our residents of Linn County. The health promotion and chronic disease and injury prevention. We focus on prevention, early detection, and control of chronic diseases and injuries. Primary efforts are directed at minimizing tobacco use, breast and cervical cancer, diabetes, injury, and disability, and to increase awareness regarding the importance of oral health. Which brings us to the work that we do at the Health Department, which is aid to local programs from Kansas Department of Health and Environment specific to Linn County's needs. So then I'm going to talk to you about the outreach projects that we've done, and then I'm going to give you the handout with all of our numbers where that's like individual services. The Health Department community outreach and projects that we've done in the last year or 2 years. Poison control education at daycares and community events, heat stroke education prevention and awareness at community events, Student Government Day, we did heat stroke prevention and awareness, Zika, other health department duties, Stop the Bleed presentations, teen resource guide for transitioning to adult, feeding and changing station at the Linn County Fair and Arts and Crafts, which provided educational information and a welcoming place to feed or change your babies. Mental Health Collaborative, we work with many partners in Linn County and Miami County in regards to suicide awareness and prevention. School vaccinations and physical clinics within the schools 2 times per year at a minimum. Community vaccination clinics, we go out and do flu, pneumonia, tetanus, and other vaccinations for adults and children, including all the senior sites in the fall. CPR and Stop the Bleed trainings. We have the Tdap Cocoon Project. We did a community baby shower, which was an event that provided over 30 educational topics for families, parents, with some topics such as smoking cessation, safe sleep, and a variety of other health education topics. And we also collaborate with many partners to include Kansas Works, Parents as Teachers, Tiny K program, daycares, Head Start, clinics, schools, pharmacies, other health departments, K-State Research Extension Office, hospitals, our surrounding hospitals, mental health, libraries, Jeremiah Stronghold, Concern, and churches, just to name a few of our partners. There are many more. The Family Health or Maternal Child Health Program is mostly our WIC and what's called our MCH, Maternal Child Health Program. Many agency programs to improve birth outcomes, decrease infant mortality, identify mortality trends, decrease the spread of infectious disease, and determine the health status of Linn Countyans. Provide support to families and communities to assure services for women, infant, and children, and adolescents, also with special healthcare needs. Children's developmental screenings, nutrition, and WIC services are among these services to include physical and mental health support. Services and resources that we provide are for Linn County residents are lab services, our MCH program, which is pre and postnatal services, BAM, which is a Becoming a Mom program, which is an educational program for new moms or pregnants, to provide support and help.
Do they have to qualify for it, or can anyone do that?
The MCH program, anyone can do it.
Okay.
WIC, you have to qualify.
Right.
Our immunization program, health education such as safe sleep, poison control, plus many others. We have WIC, which is a health program to influence lifetime nutrition and health behaviors among WIC clients to help keep pregnant, breastfeeding women, new moms, and kids under the age of 5 healthy. I'm going to have my WIC nurse come talk to you probably in the next month or so about the WIC program. Public Health Emergency Preparedness Program provides leadership to protect health through efforts to mitigate, prepare for, respond to, and recover from disasters, terrorism, or mass casualty emergencies. Environmental health, we do a little bit of that, but it's very limited due to staffing. Public health nuisance investigations, school health, we work closely with our schools, and women's health care and family planning services. Funding for the Linn County Health Department comes from federal, state, local government, and programs and fees for service. Grants play a big part in our funding. While we do bill for some services, many health departments like ours seek grants to support the work of the health department staff. We do bill to CanCare Insurance and currently do not bill to any outside private insurance companies, but we'd like to expand to do so in the future. Grants frequently come from Kansas Department of Health and Environment, other health philanthropists in Kansas, and CDC. With each grant, it is outlined in the application and contract that the requirements for the project, work plan, reports, and financial updates. The Linn County Health Department is not for profit. We have goals or work plan requirements that we must complete during the grant years. We operate under HIPAA to protect individual privacy, and Linn County Health Department staff attends many trainings and education events to have a strong workforce development so that we can provide the best, most up-to-date skills or services for Linn County. Our FTE was 4.44, and our FTE for this current year is 6.08. We have staff on state WIC committee, 2 certified breastfeeding educators, and have been a driving force for KBH assessment trainings. Currently, and the way that the grants go that we receive our grant year for state programs is July 1st to June 30th. Versus, we're a little different. For the county, it's January 1 to December 31st. So for IAP, which is Immunization Action Program, which is like our VFC program, we're going to receive $4,240. Maternal child health is $11,300, and that does have a 40% match. Public health emergency preparedness is around $13,000. We get state money of around $7,000, and WIC is about $85,000. Our newest grants that we have participated in are receiving funding from is our COVID supplemental, expanded testing, and care resource coordination. Our mill levy in the past 4 to 5 years has fluctuated between 0.4 and 0.6, and the Linn County Board has the capability of taxing up to 2 mil for health departments. So, with that being said, I do have my grant applications that are due for next Monday to the state that I'll bring to you next week in regards to, because I have to get approval and all that for signatures from you. The ones that I just mentioned are the ones we've participated in, all except COVID, that I'd like to go ahead and reapply for and participate in.
And just to go over the big number you threw out was WIC, 85,000. Do we use most of that money up that's for the individuals to use? Is that why we receive the 85,000?
The 85,000 includes the staff time.
Okay.
Training, utilities that we have at the health department. There's a percentage, like we do 30% that we get reimbursed from WIC, health insurance, benefits, that type of stuff.
Okay, so the 80. So do you have numbers on how many that we have? I don't know.
Yes.
Is it okay to give out how many?
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
And so, yes, so here are health department numbers. And I've done 2019 and 2020. So take note that this is in addition to what I just talked to you.
Sure. In addition.
Yes. And what is not included in these numbers is our outreach. We've not really, we have kind of tracked a little bit as far as how many families or individuals we've, reached at community outreach events, but that's something that we need to work better on.
So can you break it down? So I can understand it. Like WIC clients, I see that number and I see WIC certs. What's
Okay,
and then
yeah,
WIC
that's what I'm.
mid certs.
Right. So, as far as our WIC clients or our caseload, if you will, I'm going to look at 2020. Our caseload is 279, which is about 147 families. What is called, the WIC certification is each one of these people or individuals receiving services must have what's called a certification, where they are seen at least once a year to re-verify their income guidelines and, residency and different things like that. So
You're
that's,
saying that you've seen 279 people out of 147 families at least once a year. So,
correct.
okay.
Well, the WIC certs is the actual yearly visit, if you will. I don't, yeah,
273 was the actual yearly visit.
for a certification. And when a WIC client is seen, they have a certification, what's called a certification, they have a mid-certification, and then they also have at least a bare minimum of 2 what's called nutrition ed appointments in there. If there's any risk factors associated with any of that, they could be seen more often. And that's what the NEI and the RD is.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
To me?
Yes? Okay. And so that's why, like with the NEI, there's no way that the QUIC system, which is the Kansas WIC system, is able to track every single visit, which is what I've talked about with the nutrition education. But at least there's a healthy, a healthy, no risk factor person. One certification would be seen 4 times in a year. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So, breastfeeding peer counselor contacts, there is how many times that our breastfeeding peer counselor had reached out to breastfeeding support or pregnant women. And that position has been vacant for 4 months in 2020, and we will be hiring that position hopefully in the next.
Is that a full-time position?
That is 10-hour position per week.
10 hours per week.
And so the person that we're going to be hiring, the MCH, or the the home visitor, breastfeeding peer counselor, and the extra clerical person that we talked about a few weeks ago, that person, their job will be 10 hours a week breastfeeding peer counselor, about 29 hours of home visitor, and the other remaining, 10 and a half hours will be clerical.
So what do they do when they do home visitor, you said?
They go out and they're like a peer support. They go out and do health education topics, kind of a support person.
Is this something that people would,
So you said
they want?
10 hours per week for that, then 29 for home visits?
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest is going to be what? That's 30.
Oh, wait, sorry. 19.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sorry.
Is this something you're recommending, or is this something people want when they go out to home visits? Is it something required, I should say?
It's not required. It's something that we offer.
Okay.
And we reach out to our WIC clients or anybody that is pregnant or new moms or anything like that. Someone that comes in to have an immunization or something like that. It's not required.
Sure.
And they don't have to receive our services, but it's to help educate, support with any type of health topic.
Do they seem to welcome it? Is it beneficial, they think?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so maternal MCH, and that's like home visits that we talk about. I say home visits, it's not all home visits. Some of it's some other things, but you can see for 2019, we had 307 individuals, 140 families. With 2020, with the implementation of what's called our COOP plan because of COVID, that position also being vacant for 4 months, those numbers are drastically decreased.
Now, how many hours is that position?
So that would be the 19.
That's the 19 hours. Okay.
And it all fluctuates. We keep track of what's called time studies. Every staff member has to fill out a time studies to how much time goes towards each program. And I can get all of that for you if you need that. Family planning clients, again, these are the times that they're seen varies, but we have about 20 individuals that receive our services for like birth control options.
Per year?
Yes.
Okay.
But again, if they're having blood pressure issues or problems like with their birth control regulation or something like that, we may see them more than once a year.
Okay.
Our immunization program, total vaccinations given, and that's total shots.
So you could give one person multiple shots and then
Correct.
2 or 3? Okay.
Right. And so you can see there, I went ahead and the 368 is how many of those were flu vaccinations. And that includes adult children and seniors. And then total vaccinated patients.
That doesn't include COVID.
No.
No.
No. Yes. No. This is a normal year. Yeah. And then just kind of to give you an overview of our disease investigations that I talked about, where we have over 70 that we have to investigate or whatever.
What's that mean? Like, you have to investigate. What happened? Give me an example.
So someone gets tested for Lyme disease. You get tested for Lyme disease, you end up that you have Lyme disease. So that goes into the state system. All labs and physician clinics are mandated reporters, and that reports into the state system. Then if they are a resident of Linn County, then we get that in the system and we reach out to them. Again, they can refuse to have us talk to them. They can choose not to answer the phone, but we try to figure out maybe where they would have gotten the disease.
Okay.
So you can see that in 19, we did 33 of those, and 2020, we did 19. That does not include COVID investigations, and what I included there on COVID investigations, it's not necessarily how many were positive cases, but how many actual investigations, how many people we actually talked to is 3,000.
Okay.
COVID tests, 102 that we tested and sent to Kansas Department of Health and Environment. I say 38, it's actually 39 that we tested at the health department. And then my Senachip, which is another where we did the community testing in the past year. I don't have that number, but I've reached out to get that.
So 38 is what we've tested with our machine.
39, yes.
Okay. And the 102 was what now?
That was what we sent to Kansas Department of Health.
That's the ones the sheriff's office or somebody was taking every time you had some certain amount or whatever.
Who would have tested those? I mean,
Kansas.
We would have collected,
did you actually?
we swabbed them,
Okay.
yes. We swabbed them, did everything, put on the PPE, did all of that work, part of it. They talked to them, tested them, and then it was transported and sent up there. CPR certifications, for 2020, our number is down, but again, because of COVID. We go out, we do in the community, we do the county, we help with fire, and we go into the schools to help out with the school nurses. And same for Stop the Bleed. It's a training that it's like tourniquet training, if you will.
That kind of done jointly with the CPR?
It can be, yeah.
Stop the bleed?
Yes, it can be. And then actual home visits from the home visitor. You can see 32 families, 60 individuals. And so that is, again, down because of our COOP plan and then
No.
position that's
Who does that? Is that
the home visitor. That's that position. That's 19 hours.
that's 19 hours too? So that they can do some of these the same time they do the MCH, whatever that
Yeah.
is. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not the same.
And there's probably over 25 health topics or health education topics that a home visitor will go over the course of having a visit with a family member.
How long is the home visit usually?
How long does it
How
take?
long does it take?
It can vary from 10 or 15 minutes to an hour or two. I mean, it depends on the patient's needs or the family's needs. And then call load, as far as calls coming in and out, I was going to get that from IT so that you kind of have an idea what that looks like.
Now, what is your total budget with grant money and the money the county budgets to you? As for the year?
So I believe, I didn't calculate that, but I think we get about $120,000 from the county.
From what?
From just
From
the
the
county,
Yeah,
not counting the grants,
that does not include the grant money,
120,000.
I think.
Can you look that up?
Approximately.
And then how much grants, dollar wise total?
Well, it would be, so 11, 15, 28, 35. So 120,000, but that does not include my COVID supplemental, expanded testing, and care resource coordination.
Okay.
And those, I think, were around $260,000 until November 2021.
So 120 without it?
Without the grants? Yeah.
No, you said 120 for the grant, but mine,
Yeah, 120 grants, not counting the COVID grant.
Correct.
COVID was 260 till November.
Okay.
But we have to use that money to get that money back.
So I don't have very many questions. It's just the people that go to your office, they're more likely they're in need of it. They don't have proper insurance or have adequate insurance. Is that true or not true?
I would say that's probably true, but like a lot of our WIC clients could definitely be health insured people that qualify for WIC.
But they just don't have the income. Is that based on income too?
It is based on income.
Yeah.
I don't have that income.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Are the health departments in Linn County here in Mound City and Pleasanton, they're based as far as tax. The charge that they are charged is based off of income.
Well, we only have one health department.
CHC.
I'm talking about the
The clinics, the doctor's offices.
City and Pleasanton.
Yeah, I don't know how they operate.
What I think they are federally funded is what I believe.
Yeah, it's something, yeah.
Or you're on the board there, right?
It's income-based, yeah.
Yeah, income based.
But I think they also take and see everybody that there is. They'll take a fully insured person and bill them fully, their insurance at fully insured
What
amounts.
is budgeted to the health department? That's her total budget for the health department
That's the income they receive from the county.
from the county.
121.
Total
Total budget,
expenses.
total expenses for the health department.
Budget authority for 2020. Looks like $253,077.
253?
That would be basically the tax funds plus the grant,
Right,
That's total grant and tax.
yes,
Okay,
not counting the COVID grant.
right.
right.
Now, you said you're going to start having clinics, your COVID clinics at the health department. huh?
We're not going to have all of them there. I'm going to because of the weather on this Friday. If we do over 100 in one day, there's no way to do that at the health department. It has to be done at the fairgrounds.
Have you had pretty good luck keeping your help coming to the,
So we did until Friday when, Friday morning, we discovered that we had no fire volunteers that showed up. And so that was the concern there.
the volunteers did not show?
Well, I didn't know that there weren't any volunteers coming, and so I was told from someone else that they were not showing up. They were not
What
coming.
were they doing?
Who?
The volunteers, do you know what happened, why they didn't show?
I don't know. I'm guessing, since they're volunteer, my guess would be that they just didn't come. They're not like,
Well, it was brought to my attention from another department Friday that they didn't mind helping, but we're taxing other departments in the county
correct.
pretty hard.
And
What I would like to see is to where we have whatever we can do at your health department, whatever you guys are capable of doing, because I think we're taxing our other departments hard enough that I'm getting this.
Well, and so that's what brings me to my next discussion, if you will. When I talk about grant applications and grant opportunities for Linn County Health Department, is we can apply for, they've given us another option for an infrastructure for COVID support. That is a grant that is $148,000 that has been allocated for Linn County that we can apply for, that again is due by Monday. And that can go back to being reimbursement to those other departments.
But what I'm saying is if the other department has work for themselves to do, we're taking from them.
I think that they're giving extra. They're not, I don't know that we're taking from them. They're giving extra.
They're giving extra, but if they have work planned for like Friday is what I'm getting at, is if they was planning.
So, yeah. So in other words, if you have 5 police officers that are there, those 5 police officers, if they weren't called off duty to ask to volunteer or work overtime or whatever, then they could be used if they were supposed to be on the job.
They're not supposed to be. They've been called in extra, is what I've been told.
Okay. And that's certainly something for the sheriff. That was just an example. I don't know where the road department is, but Chris wants to say something. It looks like, no? Okay, all right. But, yeah, I think the concern is, at least I would think, is police officers should be out patrolling if not, and they want to come in on their off time to volunteer, it to me would be different than.
That's what I'm saying, like the fire department right now.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
I seen the deal Saturday, that there was actually 60 fires going on in the county Saturday. And if we take the fire department out in a busy time.
Right.
Have them down at a clinic,
But-
you're taxing the other departments. You're taking away from their job, is what I'm saying.
And can you,
And that
maybe,
is part of our plan. That is part of our emergency plan. I mean, it always has been, is that we could use those departments. And I understand what you're saying. So I guess, and that's, I mean, we can try and figure it out, but what I guess my question is, you don't want us to ask to use the money that's been allocated to us to reimburse those departments and have those departments?
Not reimbursing them, but if they're shorthanded, if we have fires in the county and they need to be fighting fires.
no, yeah. I think I get what Jim's saying too, and maybe you're not. It's not just that we reimburse them, it's the public's not getting the service that they deserve.
It's just like when you're down there, and I've had this called to me multiple times, that we don't have anybody answering the phone at the health department.
That's correct. I mean,
No, but no health department does right now, I don't think.
I was going to say, that's a national event.
It's a concern of the taxpayers in Linn County, is what I'm getting at, right?
But she didn't have any fire volunteers because
Yeah.
they were all on fires Friday.
Well, they weren't on fires. I just don't think they had signed up to help.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I was not told that until we had we have a moment.
Have we figured out a way to maybe streamline it and use less people? I mean, I was only down there once, so I'm not being critical, but with the people that you have, is there a way to streamline it so we don't need as many people, volunteers maybe, in certain areas?
I've heard this comment of a lot of people that went down there. They said it was run excellent.
Yeah, I've never heard anything
And
bad.
that's, I guess,
No complaint, but they say there's a lot of county employees down there. I've had that comment multiple times.
right.
And like I say, is when they see all the county employees down there, and if we have a fire or we have police, and we start taxing those departments in situations because they need to be somewhere else.
Well, and I think if they did need to be somewhere else, they would be somewhere else. They would not be down there. That's
That's what, I would think
and
that,
that's where, like, with and again, this is a Kevin or a Bobby question, but my understanding is those people are coming in extra for that. It's not that they're being pulled off of their regular duty.
okay.
That's not what I was told, but
Okay, well, I mean,
I understand that. I know you're not directing them or anything. So I didn't know if there was a way to, now that you've done this several times now, to maybe look at the process again and maybe
Sure.
cut a few off of that.
Possible it might not be as excellent or as efficient, just to give you a heads up that people may.
Sure. And if you can get
Complaints there.
regular volunteers would be more preferable than county volunteers. Because it's never looked at as a county person volunteering usually. It's so-and-so's down there and she works for the county or he works for the county. And we've got all these people down there.
But you know how volunteers go. I mean, it's either you get volunteers or you just don't do it at all.
Yeah, well, I know that, and I'm not saying that, but it can't. I get what Jim's saying too. Is we can't have 7, and it's up to the sheriffs. You're right.
Right.
It's
yeah,
up
I've not
plumb
told
up to
they
them.
have to be there. I've asked for them.
Yeah,
They can provide
okay.
support, and it's
Okay.
been a very well organized, oiled machine, if you will.
Now on the money wise, I say you file for it.
Okay.
That's my opinion, because if it doesn't come to Linn County and it's designated, it's not going back to the taxpayer in Linn County anyway. It's going to go to some other county to be spent. You can look at that any way you want, anybody in the public. If they give it to us and we don't need it, we don't use it, it's going to go to another county that's going to use it. It's probably going to be one of the bigger counties that uses it. They're going to get it and use it. So if we have the opportunity and we have a need for it, I say we take advantage of it. That's just my opinion on it.
I will work on that, and then I'll get back to you next week. So,
You
I
got
do
anything,
need-
Danny?
Now, is Dr. Allen, how is Dr. Allen tied to our county?
He's our medical director
He's our medical director.
for everything except COVID.
There's two different positions. There's medical director, which means that he's over most
Oh.
of the medical programs that the health department does. And then there's the local health officer who's over the infectious programs. And so those are two separate deals. So he's not the local health officer, but he's the medical.
So any infectious disease, we have someone else.
Yeah.
Now, who is that?
That's, in fact, we have a revised contract for her right now. That's Spencer, Robin Spencer. She's a nurse practitioner. She is our local health officer. She works under the supervision of CCH. Because if the person in that position is a nurse practitioner, then they have to have a doctor oversee them. And that doctor can be a clinic or a system. Which is what
Dr. Allen works for the same clinic she works for.
He does work for CCH too, but he's not overseeing her. The CCH board oversees her. So
They have physicians.
they have a committee of physicians that oversee her. We have a separate contract with CCH to oversee her. So,
He's here for solid.
so on the infectious
Oh,
stuff,
that
it's Robin and then CCH over them. On the other stuff, it's Dr. Allen as an individual.
And he volunteers for that.
He doesn't get paid.
He volunteered,
And he has for over 20 years.
and then we pay for the rest of it.
We pay for the infectious stuff. We got a revised contract because she has a minimum of 15 hours a week on her officer duties. And she has agreed to, when we need her to do some other duties during that 15 hours. And so we revised the contract. It's not really changing anything except it broadens the definition of what she can do during that basic 15 hours. And she's already signed it, so we need you guys.
So that goes to how many hours?
Same, it's 15.
No, nothing, it's just if we,
It just, right now it says that she does 15 hours of health officer work. And then if she does other things, that's extra. That's what it currently says
does it stay at the same dollar figure then? Is it-
Exact.
per hour. Yeah. Now, the new contract says that she does 15 hours as health officer, but during that 15 hours, she may do some other things as well that she would otherwise have been paid extra for. So actually, it's going to be less pay, wouldn't you say?
Probably.
So that's, but it doesn't change her hourly rate. Her hourly rate is $45 an hour. She doesn't have benefits, right?
Correct. Yeah, she doesn't have any health benefits.
Doesn't have benefits. She does doesn't have vacation. She does, get capers
If she goes over 1,000, what is it?
if she qualifies.
Yeah.
So all we're really doing here is just revising the definition of what she can do during that 15-hour period. So she can do more things than just help.
So we're hiring a nurse practitioner to do RN work is what we're doing.
No,
This is it.
We have
that is
to.
not what that is.
But is it, explain.
So as that is not what you're talking about, her new position. I mean, her new position, I say new, it's not a new position. It's just expanding her to be able to do, instead of us, we have not been successful in getting doctors or nurse practitioners come in and do a well woman exam. And that is a requirement for having our family planning people. And so we've not been successful in finding any volunteers. If you have someone, please tell me who they are. And so that will encompass some of that time. And that is only what a nurse practitioner can do. RNs cannot do pelvic exams or well woman exams.
So how did you do it before?
We had volunteers.
You had volunteers.
Yeah.
So that's the only job she's going to be doing in the extra hours is what you're saying is,
That and some physicals, yes. Yeah, it's not to do RN work, if you will.
Okay. So we need to renew that? Or
how many did you usually do of that as the clinic is focused?
We would do like one evening every couple months, maybe a couple of hours. This will be able to provide us more flexibility with when people can come in too. Is there any other work that you'd like to see us be doing?
Not me.
Anybody else?
You're doing great. Keep it up.
Thank
I know
you.
I know you got a hard job and you rely on a lot of volunteers, but they just don't come, especially during the middle of the week. So, just keep your head up, keep pushing.
Hey, have you tried a week? Do you do, forgive me, because I don't know. Have
Can I
you,
help?
do you do, yeah. Do you do, volunteer, or do you do it on the weekend at all the
We
shops?
haven't expanded to that because the population for phase 2 has been 65 and older.
Okay.
And not that people who are 65 don't work or have jobs, but that is something that we've considered or we've talked about doing for the phase 3. The
You think our volunteers would boost if you're just doing it on a Saturday?
As far as nurses goes, I've been told that the three nurses that I've been having would not be available on the weekend.
Okay.
But we've talked about doing evenings and weekends. We
Okay.
have talked about
I
that.
would rather see us use our facility we have over there for it. And to me, it'd take less time up as far as moving in and moving out. If everything was at your facility, you
Sure.
could do, you could do, whether you do 50 today and 50 tomorrow or.
Is that something you can consider doing? Because
Well, we are-
I would like to see it, because I've gotten 2 calls last week on it too, from over there. I know you're doing a lot when you vaccinate a lot of people over there. Can you do less and just do more days?
That's all we would get done at our clinic. We would have to decrease our.
And then what would be the reason why you'd have to decrease so much over there versus over here?
Because of the amount of people that we have helping and
Is it-
vaccinating.
Have you got it planned out how you're wanting to do it over there?
Yeah, we've done it over there. We
Okay.
did 110 a few weeks ago over
Okay.
there
How long did
on
that
one day,
take? I mean,
in one day.
One day it took 100.
But if we did 530 is what we did last week.
That's incredible.
2 days, huh?
That's incredible numbers you're doing.
Yeah, 530, that's what we'd be doing the entire week.
Yeah.
We'd do nothing but vaccinations.
Yeah.
But man hours is what I'm getting at is when we take the county employees away from what their job is, the man hours would probably be the same is what I think. Whether we do it in 5 days or put it all together, because a lot of jobs, if you throw enough people at it, you can get a lot of jobs done quick.
And I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but If you want us not to use the fairground, then I mean, we have.
We need to use our vaccines. That's what we're giving it to us for. So you tell us how to plan it, like you've been doing. But just consider all that stuff, I think.
We have been.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, so I have an employment contract revision for the employment of consulting and nurse practitioner, Robin Spencer. And I make a motion that will you allow me to sign this contract? Doesn't change the amounts, doesn't change anything, except it allows her an opportunity to do some additional services.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Do you have anything for us?
I don't.
So next week, is it next week you're bringing all the, no?
The other programs, you mean?
Yeah,
No.
okay. But you have to turn in the grants, all
Oh,
this.
yes, the grant applications, yes. I will be bringing the grant application amounts and request that has to be signed from the commissioners, that has to be submitted to KDHE before noon.
Okay.
So yes, I will be bringing that. March 29th, I'm going to bring my, one of my nurses and talk to you about our MCH program and all the things that we provide for that. And then probably sometime in April, I'm going to bring my WIC nurse over so she can explain and talk to you about WIC.
Okay. Anybody got anything else?
Oh, thanks, Tisha.
Thanks, Tisha.
Welcome.
Don't leave yet. I mean, you can go over there, but don't leave. I make a motion, we take a 5-minute recess, and then Al, do you need any copies of anything burned, or you got everything? Okay, and then you can sit right up here.
I've got one thing. I'll tell you what, it was brought to me as far as, and I seen on the claims that we gave $20,000 for the Historical Society right now,
Yeah.
you know, and Allie Hamilton brought it to my attention that happens twice a year, the 40,000, and it's split between 5 departments.
Ida Mae splits it. She's our county, Ola Mae. Why did I say Ida Mae? Ola Mae, I'm sorry.
I had quite a talk with her, and what I'd like to see is, could we split that 5 ways in 5 different checks, and then actually have a workshop with everybody, to let them come back in to see where the county tax dollars are being spent? Because I mean, the $40,000, I realize split between 5 different entities isn't a whole lot of money, but it's
Right.
still quite a bit for the county. And personally, I'd like to see what they're doing with it.
This is something that I've actually put a lot of thought and effort into, and you're right. And I would like to see, so we have all the museums, a representative, be on the Historic Society, one representative from each museum. And I've said this a few times, I think our museums, one way we can get them involved and get, volunteer work and let, a lot of people don't even know anything about the museums anymore, I think we get one person from the Historic Society here, maybe, one representative from the Historic Society here once a month to tell us, what they're spending their money on, that we gave them. And, they come in here and tell us like, hey, we're putting gravel at Parker this week, if there's any volunteers. And Allie Hamilton and I've had a lot of talks over it too. I think that it would greatly help,
Well, she told me some things that I did not know. She's got signs to put up for the Merzine massacre, and I guess the signs got stolen. They was actually
the
going to put
billboard.
but the billboards, she's got it paid for, but she's looking for money. And I told her right up front, I'm not in favor of the county putting more money into the Historical Society right now, but I'm not against having it on our website, putting it up there and giving everybody the opportunity that wants to donate money to different organizations if they choose to. Could we have somebody put that on our website?
Well, we could. I just need to make sure. Gary, we have any legal issues with that?
With being a funnel for private contributions, that's what I understand.
Yeah, just put it on our website to where, and show who the contact person is
For donations?
We wouldn't even handle the money at all.
We wouldn't be, it'd go directly.
We could put something out there that says, we encourage you to support your local historical society. Here is the person in.
Well, she actually showed me, what brought it up was the Gordon Parks deal where Gordon's going to put the Fort Scott's going to put the sign in her yard. And she has a sign, you know, the artwork done for one for us right here. And like I said, I'm not huge on the county having to spend more than the $40,000. I think that's a pretty good size of money for the county to donate to the Historical Society. But I think there's a lot of opportunities out there that people don't know about. If we had it on a website and we could update it somehow to where people knew who to get a hold of. I'm not asking for us to take the money, just like you say, to funnel the money to a certain person over each historical
Right. I got you.
entity.
Yeah. I think in the past, the Historical Society, you know, we gave 20,000 for years and years, and then, about 7 or 8 years ago, they upped it to 40,000.
20 twice a year
Yeah.
is what I understand.
Yeah.
Right? We just
And
paid it this month.
everybody argues over it. And it's really good to know that a lot of the historical societies in the past, depending on who ran them, it might not be open but once a month or once a week or so.
But that's why I say, Danny says a monthly, and I mean, I'm not arguing with you about that, but if we held somebody accountable to come back in to talk to us, that, you know, when somebody gives you $8,000, I think somebody should come back and talk to us a little bit. Just tell us what's going on. I probably don't pay the light bill and the things.
If you can get Ola May to come in, would she come in, you think? Okay.
You know, and that goes for other things too, like, you know, and just throwing out names like, you know, Southeast Kansas Mental Health, they come in once a year and we give them money. I would like to see people come in quarterly if that. And I know whenever I mentioned this, Mike said you don't want to be the police on it. I do want to be the police on it. And I would like to see them come in here and visit with us. I mean, you know.
Well, that's a good point, because April and May is when everybody starts coming in. When we start talking about budgets, that's when they're going to come in, they're going to ask.
Well, even like, I think if we bring all 5 of them together, they might be able to work together with something, you know.
We want to deputy here.
Yeah. It's a rough one.
I understand that, but I'm just saying
They're definitely stuck in their way.
It's my way or no.
I agree with you.
But it'll raise awareness to what we have in this county if we get everybody to, you know, to come together. And I think if we actually give the 5,000 to Mound City, or if we give the 5,000 to Meridazine Masco, you're actually holding them accountable to come to us, or the dollar figure, or that's what I think.
There's some of them that, you know, they list out everything, and there's some people that you don't even know what they're spending it on.
Yeah.
So I agree with you.
And I think we assigned, and I didn't, but because way before me, Ola May was as the curator for all the museums, that divided it up. She was our representative, like Doug would be for his department and Sheriff for his department, and we just let her break it up. And the big fight over that was the amount so-and-so received, and then they got straightened out.
Right.
Somebody wasn't getting their fair share, and then
But what would be wrong with just splitting it up to where we see it? Then we hold that person accountable to come in and see us.
I don't know. I don't know if it's right or wrong. I don't care. It's fine with me.
I would like to just, maybe we all talk and think about it and we rewrite how we do it. I mean.
Yeah, I don't disagree with it.
I think if we talk about it, it'll bring some awareness to what we're doing, and then maybe there's people in this county that want to donate that don't really.
Don't know who to get a hold of, yeah.
Okay. Well, we can do that. We can start by
Workshop.
asking your local one. Your Ola May probably can't come in because of health right now.
Somebody over there who probably.
Somebody could come over and talk about the Pleasanton Museum, and I can ask Janet. She certainly would come down for lay scenes.
What do we have, Lacey?
Allie would come over for the trading post.
Ola May, Alley, and Lacey, Mound City, and then there's
Yeah.
one at Parker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't.
And there's one more. There's
5, I believe.
4 or 5 of them.
See, you're like me. I don't know much about it. I mean, but it's.
I just think get them in here and talking to the camera, you know, bring awareness to it. People know. I mean, we don't know where all our museums are. So.
Okay.
Chris, are you the one that keeps our website up? Who does? I mean. Yeah.
So you want Allie to get something together and look it over,
Or you can. I mean.
Yeah.
You got it. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to see pictures of it, did she send you anything?
and then see if we can get it on. Well, let's all agree on what we want.
good at what she does.
She has a sign right here for the courthouse, even though the one we've got that and she's not set on it. She just told me, she said she's welcome to ideas, but she actually has a sign made up to go where our wooden one is. You know, it's,
Okay.
have you seen that, haven't you?
Yeah, she sent me pictures of it. It is that lady wants to be involved so bad she can't see straight, and she has some amazing ideas. I don't know if she talked to you.
Well, I think we have a lot of talent in this county for a lot of different people.
You just need to ask. Yeah.
So
If they know
Yeah.
and are allowed to use their talents.
Yeah.
you can't see it, but
Okay.
she's already kind of got that was for the Linn County Museum, courthouse.
Well, I'll start setting up, I'll set up Janet and you set
And
up.
don't think that, I think the $40,000, I think we're making quite a contribution to it. And it's not that I want to raise it, but I think if the awareness is out there and there's people that want to spend money for that, I think there could be an opportunity for them.
Okay. Good. So that's what we'll do.
Okay.
Somebody contact, all I know is Janet and you contact for Pleasanton. You work for Ally.
City?
What has always been, I think, I don't.
Okay. I'll try to get a hold of
And then we'll try to figure out who the fifth one is, if there is one. What was the, I thought it was down by south of here. There's one at Parker, but there's somewhere else
you.
too.
The contact
A
person.
little one, little bitty place that was a town or something before. Yeah, something like that.
Is it the massacre and then trading post? Is the massacre and trading post two separate?
Separate.
Oh, they're the same.
The master of the state park.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
The trade post though promotes it because it's right there and related.
Mexico Park is a state park. It's taking.
So everybody's good on that. One question I had for you was where are we at on the meal plan, Pleasanton meal
They
site?
just switched over people, and I've actually talked to him last week. I talked to one of the council members, so I was actually thinking about that today. I'm gonna go in and talk to Teresa Whitaker, is the new city administrator. So whenever I came to Erica, I think it was kind of closing. So I'm gonna talk to Teresa and get moving on. We have to get a restaurant license before next month, right?
Well, they do, or they'll have to get they'll have to pay for an additional one, which will fall on us, probably.
I'll talk to Teresa today.
I actually went Friday and ate with the one in Mountain City.
Yeah.
My wife and I did.
They're a lot better than they used to be. Used to be 2 meatballs with some carrots. Yeah. I used to show it off. It was ugly. Yeah. They do pick their days. Wednesday used to be the day to get the best food there. Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, Friday, they didn't have any meat for the Lent service.
And I will say that Lacine cheats because the Lacine Library puts on a fabulous meal of mashed potatoes and gravy and fried chicken, and then they can go exercise and they eat all this food, and then they can go get their Meals on Wheels and have an evening meal. So they got it made. They got it made. Anyway, I make a motion before Al comes up, and Chris has got something. You just
So I can wait for the generator thing.
bring it up. Come on. Come on now. We don't need you after this. What are you asking for first?
Okay, so, I've come up and we've talked about going out for bid on the health department generator.
Right.
So we got the sealed bids. We opened them last week and qualified them. So give you a little bit of background on what we did. We told every bidder that came out and looked at the site, because some of the work the natural gas line and stuff like that was already there. The building is currently 200 amp, 240 volt, single phase on the service coming in. The building's all LED lighting, so we don't have a lot of load there. The largest loads we have at the new health department are the 2 air conditioning units and the 2 instant hot water heaters. They're small hot water heaters, but they have 50 amp breakers apiece.
What about the giant freezer that's still in the old building?
So that's been moved.
Okay.
Both are now in the new building. And those 2 are our most sensitive of equipment in the building for the loads. We did tell all the bidders that, just to keep in mind, we don't know that the building was wired to accommodate 400 amp service in the future. Okay. So, you're going to see one of the bids is really high, and that bidder decided to bid the 400 amp.
That's
Now,
three-phase, right?
no, the building is not three-phase.
No, but that's what this.
It is, and I'm not sure why he bid it three-phase, but that was his choice. So as far as, would we ever need 400 amp service? I can't tell you, but we do not need 400 amp service today. Okay. So out of the three bids that you have, do you want me to read what the totals were, or do you guys want to do that?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So we got a bid from Kelly Electric for $20,000, from CDL Electric for $29,091.99. And the third bid was from Central Power Systems for $69,650. Okay. Kelly Electric is bidding a 40 kW generator, which is appropriately sized for 200 amp service. He also included a 200 amp service disconnect transfer switch. The transfer switch, which is what they all bid, that would go in between the meter and the service running into the building. He bid exactly what we asked for. Okay, and when I say that, CDL Electric is a little bit higher. They had originally said they were going to put in some optional items on their bid, and they put it in the bid. Okay, so that's what's happened there. CDL, same size, 48 kW generator, 200 amp automatic transfer switch. They also included in their bid 4 load shed devices. So what that would do is connect to those instant hot water tanks and the AC units, and should something load the generator so much that it would basically overwhelm the generator, it would shut those devices off. Okay. But that was not specified. That was something they brought up in conversation, and, I asked them to put it in optionally if they wanted to, but they put it in their bid. The last thing they included was a 4G remote monitor, which is cellular. Again, was not specified. Nobody else included that. That would be something that you would know when the generator ran. It'll let you send out text messages, things like that. We have systems that can do that for us that we do currently on our generators. So it's a nice to have, but it is by no means. And there's a yearly fee to that service.
Is there something you could do yourself?
Absolutely. Yep. And then when you get to Central Power Systems, they bid a 100 kW generator, which again would be appropriately sized for a full 400 amp service, and a 400 amp automatic transfer switch, and a 208 volt 3-phase generator, which is significantly larger than what is required today. It's at least, obviously by the KWs, but it's at least double the size.
This is money that's being reimbursed to us, or that.
That is correct. So there's a funding source for the health department that we have talked to. And if you are okay with moving forward with a bid, we'll apply it with them and get their approval to then get the funding and move forward and get the generator. What's that?
Is there a certain amount that they're?
No, they wanted bids. I will tell you that they said originally that they expected it to be 30 to 35,000 is what they expected. And as you can see, the two low bids are below that number as it is. So obviously I can't give a guarantee without talking to them, but I think it's a pretty good chance. The one thing I will point out that I noticed when we qualified is that CDL Electric, which they're the ones that installed, by the way, the generator at Doug's office. Okay. So they do a nice job. They did a very nice install. They wanted to put in a 2-inch gas line from the meter all the way to the generator. It's currently 1.25 inches is already there. Kelly Electric has contacted their people, and they believe that the 1.25 inches, and they also talked to Atmos, that the 1.25 inches was more than adequate for the 48 kW generator.
So that, and CDL, is that included in their bid?
That is correct. So their bid includes burying a 2-inch gas line from the north end of the building all the way around to the generator that Kelly Electric's does not. So when you start adding up what CDL put in to their bid, they become a lot closer. But again, CDL put them in not as options, which is what was originally requested. They are the same generator. It's a Generac liquid cooled 48 kW.
Is there any warranty with the Kelly generator?
Yes, the same 5-year manufacturers.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't see that, but.
What's your recommendation?
I would go with the Kelly Electric. It's the low bid. It's a quality generator. He seems absolutely competent in what he's bidding. And everybody is going to have the exact same lead time on getting a generator. Due to Texas and just various things, generators, they're all coming out right now at roughly 10 to 13 weeks on delivery. They hope they can get one, like a 48 is a very common size, that they can get it quicker.
So what's our next step? We approve this and then you go to,
Yeah, so if you were okay with approving Kelly Electric or CDL, that bid, then I would just ask that it would okay for me to sign upon approval of the funding, or I could bring it back to you.
No, that's fine. That's what I would do too. I mean, if we're going to do that.
You know, that if the funding source says, yep, do it, then we can sign it off and get the order made.
The motion would approve that bid contingent on receiving the funding and authorize him to go ahead and seek the funding.
You got that typed in? Because I ain't repeating it. Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
And I want to clarify, is this for the Kelly Electric bid?
Kelly Electric.
Okay.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
So if I, now to go to the same within the generator.
Oh, you're not done?
No, well, the old generator. There were some questions that Jim had asked and some others regarding the size. It is a 25 kW generator and it only has a 125 amp transfer switch on it. After we got to looking at it, it will not run the current building without significant load shed. So my recommendation, unless you have some other place for it, would be to just sell it with the building when that time comes.
Sell it with the building?
It was manufactured in 2001.
Is there
Or we
anything
can
that we
take
can
it.
take and put it on a trailer for something? Is it, I guess it's natural gas.
Natural gas. It'd have to be converted to something, yeah.
If it was gasoline, we could use it as a
Yeah.
backup.
Be a good one too, probably. Yeah, I probably wouldn't sell it with the building. I'd probably just take it and put it on Purple Wave or something.
We can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, again, and we may have, I can ask Kelly Electric, we'll have to have an electrician break the service to take it out of the path and hook the building just direct up to the meter. We can't do that
Okay.
ourselves.
Well, we can find out the price for that.
It would-
It might be,
It would be very,
just to leave it with it.
Automatic transfer switch.
it is. Yeah, and it would be pretty minimal. We could have that done, and then again, we could simply put it on a trailer to haul it away if that's what you want to
It
do.
wouldn't be.
So
It'd be beneficial to do it separate from the building.
So now that we're just about done with that building, it sounds like. So go ahead.
Talking about the old building.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all but out of there with all of our stuff. And I sent an email to David and Jackie, I think it was last week, about shutting off utilities and things like that. I don't know that there's a problem with that, because we're still paying for it.
Yeah. Hang on to that thought.
So
for a
I
second.
haven't, that's why I wanted to bring it up and talk to you about it.
So we kind of agreed that, well, at least I think we did, that we would put that building up for sale.
Yeah, before we shut it up.
And we have a process we have to go through.
I don't think that building's gonna bring over $50,000.
Okay. So
So we don't have to go through the process.
we just advertise it.
You advertise it or make a private sale, whatever you wanna do, if it's under that.
Why don't we advertise it, give everybody an opportunity for, what's normal, 2 weeks, 3 ads, 2 ads? Okay.
Shut the heat off on it.
And don't shut anything down yet because we don't want a bunch of problems.
Okay.
And then do we want to take the generator out and sell it separately or you want to leave it with it?
I think we should, I mean,
I think we can sell it.
Yeah,
I think somebody come along and give,
I do too.
wouldn't take very long to unhook it.
So Jackie and Chris, can you look into what it's?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty easy to get to.
Yes, right up behind the building.
I know.
Here's what I suggest leaving it hooked up until you determine if you got a buyer for the building. That buyer may say, hey, I'll give you for the generator too.
Okay, that's true.
Sell it with or without.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
So has anybody got anything else before we go talk to Al? We're going to take a little recess for just a few minutes, though.
Hamilton texted me, said the Mountain City Historical Park was the other one.
Well, that's Mound City. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's something else in there. I remember when we. I'm going to make a motion.
That's a fun.
Okay. Make a motion that we go into not executive session. Make a motion we go take a 10-minute recess. Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
You know how it kind of poke it in.
Yeah.
And finally told me so.
Okay. Yeah.
Got one of the big hats.
Now, that's a Prescott, right? What you're talking about. Now, somebody even mentioned something about a side by side down there. Is there anything they can do there? Somebody mentioned that to me.
It mentioned to me too, yeah.
I got that mentioned to me as far as having a side by side
Utilizing the land.
utilizing the land. I got somebody, and I can't even remember who called me now, but somebody told me that just this last week.
Done.
Pardon me?
We'll have to talk. Just do like you're. There's a question. We'll answer that.
Have a seat.
Pam made up the map where he could
Okay, good.
show you the whole operation.
Where's theirs, Danny? All right. So Al's going to talk to us today about our Prescott site down there. And tell us, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 employees, is that correct?
Yes.
And how long have you worked down there, Al?
I'm going on 16 years.
16 years.
Yeah.
And is Joe a mechanic down there now?
Joe
Maloney.
Maloney? Yes.
Yeah. Does it, when he's not doing that, what's he do?
He's my recycle guy.
Okay. And then we'll talk about recycling later. Mike Marsh and Gary and Jeff, they all drivers mostly?
No. Mike and Gary are drivers. And then Jeff, he's the operator, equipment operator for the C&D.
Okay. So we can kind of call Jim because we were asking all section heads and getting Jackie to give us a brief. So Jim will know, Danny will know, and I'll know more of what goes on down there since you took over basically. And you've been in charge now, what, 2 or 3 years? About 3 years now. So what are this number here, and I asked you this before, but I just want to make it so everybody knows, the amount that you gave was based on the FEMA numbers that FEMA puts out. So a person operating a piece of equipment, their hourly scale that they have. So it's not necessarily what our budget is.
Right.
It's what they would be in case we had to file for a disaster, correct?
Yeah, their wages are actual loaded wages, what we pay.
Right.
The equipment is FEMA.
The labor costs is actually,
Labor costs are actual, it came right out of public.
okay.
So first of all, tell us about what are the hours down there that you're open, Monday through Friday?
We're open Monday through Friday from 8 to 4 for our trash and tires.
For trash, like regular trash? So people, but we have I guess this is the confusion, not confusion, but why do we have a Prescott site as well as this site for trash?
That is a good.
Because, I mean, you're like a mile outside of Prescott.
It's right down at the blacktop to the south.
Yeah.
No, I'm seeing.
So you still have, I've been out there a couple of times, and every time I'm out there, I notice people are backing up and dumping their trash as well.
Do you think that would be a problem if we shut that down?
I don't think so, no.
Do you think people, I mean,
They might fuss a little bit about it.
We'll just say Jim did it. We just give him his phone
well, I
number.
just think, I know it's a mile, but it'll save somebody a
It'll
mile.
save the city money.
It'll save somebody a mile.
And-
and-
Equipment's barely, you said it's some of the best.
Yeah,
Out
because
of
it's little used.
Okay.
It's never.
So I know people are listening. He's going to get on the phone really quick and start texting or talking, but we're not saying we're shutting it down. We're just asking questions right now. So Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, is that what you said?
Yeah,
8 to 4. And then you're open on Saturday too, right?
yeah, we're open from 9 till noon on Saturday.
9 till noon.
How, the Prescott side, what's the hours that it's open?
You don't
Is
really
it-
know, do you?
I would have to go.
Is that from the
I mean,
city?
is it open 5 days a week or is it, so,
No, I
It's
think
on the website, all of them are on the website.
Yeah, she'll pull it
It's
up.
not open 5 days a week?
no.
so really
A
then,
lot of
How about Pleasanton?
So
It's like-
people can bring their trash. People can bring their CD, right?
That closes at 3:30.
Okay, and CD is something that they have to weigh in, right?
Yes.
And they'll have to pay for that, right?
Yes.
So they pull up on the scale and you send them out there and it gets dumped and you take care of that.
Yeah.
What?
it's open 5 days a week and half a day Saturday.
Oh, wow.
Is it?
Okay.
It's only 3 days.
But not
Oh, I'm
8
sorry.
hours a day.
I may be looking at the wrong one.
You're looking at,
I'm looking at yours. I'm sorry. So Monday through Saturday, 1 to 6.
1 to 6, Monday through Saturday. Okay.
So people can bring their CD down. They get charged for that. Can they bring brush down?
Yes.
And are they charged for that?
Brush is free.
Okay. What about batteries?
Batteries and our household hazardous waste.
Okay. And then what if people have paint? Because everybody has paint in their hand and
We can accept that.
flammables and stuff like that. Can they bring it down to you?
Yes.
And do they need to make an appointment for that?
It's open Thursdays from 8 to 4
For chemicals?
for household hazardous waste.
Is that free or is that costed?
It's free.
It's free, but it costs us quite a bit, doesn't it?
Yes, it costs, yeah, it costs.
Costs the county, but I
Yeah.
mean for the,
A little bit of labor included in it.
Pardon?
Is there labor included? in it?
Just the chemicals itself
Or
to get rid
just to
of.
dispose of them?
The disposal of them.
Now, the paint's easier, right? You can spread it out and let it dry or whatever,
Yeah.
which is time consuming,
Yeah. Once
obviously.
it's dry though, we can put that into the waste system.
Right, but the acids and different things that people
Yeah,
bring.
we have to store that and we have to call a contractor to come in and they'll haul.
We called a contractor not too long ago, didn't we, to get some chemicals out of there? And it cost us how much?
32,000, I believe.
Yeah, because it'd been there for years though, right?
Well, it was not household, it was accepted from a school. with
Okay.
Lab chemicals, which was a mistake, but it was done years ago.
Okay.
It just sat there.
But we'd rather have it down there and disposed of correctly than poured down a sink or something.
But there's a flip side to what he said also. If somebody gives a bunch of household paint,
Mm-hmm.
put on the shelf, and somebody wants, they can come get it.
Yeah, we do have a give back program.
Give back and they can come back and they can come down there and just see if there's paint available. Okay.
Whether it's Roundup or, stain or something like that.
Al's gonna take that. Tordon and all that stuff. All right. So now that I've asked you some questions, you go ahead and spout off what you got us, what you're gonna talk about.
Well, we went over the cost summary. The next is the material that we are getting. I printed off a copy off the computer of what we have generated so far this year.
Is this on this one right here?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's a total.
Third
of-
page, I think.
That's a total of everything that's,
Okay.
that's went across the scales that we do charge for.
And you say, is the charges the actual amount that you received?
Yes,
The $10,528?
yes,
Okay. And the clear rubble,
clean rubble.
clean rubble,
You
I'm sorry.
charge that, that's money we take,
Yes.
it's receivable.
How's it, is it collected and brought to Janet?
I deposited in Prescott Bank.
Okay. And then the receipts go to the clerk or the treasurer, I mean?
Yes.
Okay. Tires. So do we take tires without charging people or we do charge people, don't we?
The only way we don't charge people is if they cut the sidewalls out of them,
Okay.
and then they can throw them away for free.
Okay. So we've,
Taking
You've had-
3 loads at 1,980 pounds for free? Is that the way I see it?
Everything on this page that has a price behind it is what the money that we've collected. But yeah,
Isn't there a guy that kind of goes around and charges people for pick up their tires and then cuts it out?
does he do that and then brings it to you?
No.
Okay.
Oh, he doesn't bring it down there?
oh, no, we get a lot of tires from like A1, but
They'll cut them out for you?
Yeah.
He's talking, I think we're talking about the Champion. When we get overwhelmed, how many tires can we have on site? And then we call somebody.
Yeah, we can have 500 on site. That's what's in our permit.
Do we have to pay Champion to dispose of those?
It's like $8,000 every time we have to pay, and it's once or twice a year, I think. Isn't that about right?
Yeah, last year I didn't get rid of none. We kept up on it pretty good last year.
What's the hardest, just the time consuming of cutting those out? Do we have a machine that does that or?
We have a machine that quarters them.
Okay. But it's not, you just get behind because you got other things going on, lots of other stuff going on. Okay.
Well, we've been letting, some of these cleanups for the towns and cities, they bring a bunch of tires to that, so all of a sudden, we may have 50 or 100 tires.
I got you.
cleanup.
It's a way to get rid of them out of their garages and stuff and everybody brings them out. Yeah.
And the next page, that is what we took in last year. A total of everything that went across the scales.
And now are we keeping all the metal for us to sell?
Yes.
Because the contractors wasn't working out for
Right.
nothing.
Yeah.
And what's that done for us? Did we have to buy more containers?
Yes, a few. Actually, we bought the trailers,
Right.
And then the old container, he cut the lids off and we're using those for collecting.
I got you.
That's at the waste disposal, or their solid waste dumps, like at Mound City.
Yeah,
At the,
old container.
you actually keep the metal ourselves, and then we're selling it ourselves.
Yeah. We're still trying to get a collection collected from last year, so.
Do we get in any trouble for that? Keeping a big pile of metal down there or anything from the state?
The only thing the state said is it has to be in a container. That's why we have.
Really?
Yeah. It couldn't be just thrown on the ground because that was what they used to do. But
Even when we farmed, even when we were under contract, we had big piles down there, didn't we?
yeah, but KDHE come in and said.
Said that's not,
We need to contain that.
okay,
It is caught up and down now.
okay. Then how do you dispose of it? I mean, how do you find the best price, or do you just deal with one person, or,
We just been taking it to Wes right now.
okay.
He's just right across the road. It's really convenient.
Oh, I see.
Quick.
Now the brush, do you burn?
Yeah.
Once,
Once we think we got a pretty.
Didn't burn you last week, did you?
No, we haven't lit it for probably a couple of
Because
months.
they had a lot of fires.
Yeah.
now the construction debris, where do you haul it to?
We just buried it.
Bury it. That's where we get to filling up
Sales, yeah.
a sale. And where are we at on our sale that we got currently open?
I am projecting that it'll probably be close to full capacity in August, September.
Of this year. So where are we at on getting the new one? Because we have a lot of rules that we got to go by, and
Yes, we've already had it surveyed. So
okay.
we need to start moving dirt now, getting the trees off of it. And then whenever we think we're close, we call the survey back, and then they'll tell us if we have to fill or if we have to take dirt out. And then whenever they say it looks good, then we have to call KDHE. And then they have to come down and
Approve it.
And approve it.
And then they give us like something that says certified or approved or a letter or anything?
Yeah, they'll send us.
Okay.
This is a pretty big item for your budget, isn't it?
It is a big item. Yeah.
So
Now, is there so many years you can reuse the ground again? Or I mean, if that stuff deteriorates or anything or not? It's how much, 1,000 years?
So you can farm on it, but you can't build any structures. I
Can't
think
build anything.
That's what it was, with the government.
Huh.
We could not build anything on it.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Longer
I
than Danny.
won't see that.
You're right.
But we also, Terracon made the comment that we can go another 6 feet on that one cell, so we might be able to have a little bit more time, but we really, I need.
So where are we at? Because this, if I remember right, one year, Al, that it was when I first came in as commissioner, that the sale was predicted that would not fill up for something, and all of a sudden it was full. And then it cost a tremendous, wasn't it like $100,000 or something?
And that cell that he's filling up was being dug when I started, so that's 4.5 years ago that was dug. It only lasted 4.5 years.
Do you guys dig the cell?
We dug the last one.
Are we digging this new one?
We haven't started on it yet.
would it be cheaper to get an outside source?
That's what I was gonna try to work up and put out on contract, see what the numbers are, and if they're too high, we just yank the road.
Would you be, how would you, your crew, would you?
But you've got a dozer and everything there, right? Well, we've got a dozer within the county.
How would it, if we took away from your guys to dig that, what would that do to you?
Road
Would
crew
put
digs
us
it.
way
They dig
behind.
it.
Oh, they do?
The road crew digs it. He doesn't have the personnel to do
Yeah,
it.
we
But-
did.
And it's gonna have to start here pretty quick when it dries.
Well, if you're going to meet August, yeah.
Well, I think the August, but I don't know if that counts. Terracon said we could put 6 more feet on this one. So we need to get them to tell us what we have to do. So
Yeah, please find out because I don't want, we'll be a little frustrated if, all of a sudden we got another $150,000 to come up with for a sale to fill, build. When we've got opportunity now to find out how bad we're off we are. Okay.
And the next page is the solid waste that we've taken in. On the left side, it's what we've taken in so far this year. We brought in, we've hauled off.
Which one is that?
It'd be the one that says MSW on top.
This one or this one? That one? Okay. So is this tons or
Yeah,
what?
this-
Okay. So it's Tanglewood is 16 tons and landfill's 174 tons?
Yes,
Okay.
that's what we've done since the 3rd of this month.
And that's, what is that?
That you've hauled off?
Yes, that's the tons that we've hauled off.
Of trash?
Yes,
Okay, so this is going to Arcadia?
yes.
So you'd take like Pleasanton would haul down there, and then that's the reason why your landfill's quite a bit bigger number, or is everybody?
Our landfill, the reason our landfill is a bigger number is because
Commercial?
we get
Commercial.
commercial trash. Yeah.
And then you haul it, okay.
Yes.
How's that working out? I mean, there was an issue years ago over the building itself. They were knocking the doors off and the roofs off and everything else.
There's not much to knock off.
There's nothing left?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
How do we charge them, the commercial,
We charge by the ton.
just like everybody else?
Yeah, if it's trash, we charge 40.
No, not like everybody else. If you're not a commercial guy, you can just go dump there free like we
Right.
can
Oh,
anywhere else.
yeah, okay, I was thinking.
But if it's commercial, and have we determined who's, you know for a fact, who's doing it for a living? The guy shows up every day in his pickup truck that's got 8 feet of trash every single day. You know he's not, if he's got that much trash on his property, there's an issue. So how do you handle that?
We just take it. I mean, we have to accept.
Free?
If they're not a commercial hauler, yeah.
So what do we
If they
determine?
are, then
No, I'm saying there are, at least what I'm told is there are people around here that do it for people
Yeah.
and make a living
Yeah,
at it.
we do charge.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
We had that problem down here
Uh-huh.
and we made stop the guy. I don't know if it's happening.
Oh, I don't know which guy. I just knew,
Yeah, but the other compactor sites, we don't know if it's happening other places. They were pulling in there, throwing it in there, and we said, no, if
yeah.
it's commercial, you gotta go to Preston. Then he's gonna charge them down there for the commercial.
And then on the right, that's last year's total.
So still on the left on Prescott, looks like we did 20 tons in this year already.
Here at the landfill.
I know.
No, it's at bottom here.
Oh, at the bottom?
Yeah, how come 100 tons last year? That was total.
Total year.
That was total for the
Yeah,
year.
Total for the year.
And they're open 7 days a week, but 5 hours a day. Or 5 days a week, 5 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then is Tanglewood, are they, I mean, do you push your own button?
Tanglewood bought their own.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, they purchased their own equipment. All the lakes did that.
They have a camera with it.
So it doesn't look like that Prescott's, in my opinion, producing a whole lot of trash for us to justify, having.
Well, how much is that machinery worth down there to us? All that stuff.
Shouldn't be worth a lot, but it is because we use the parts and keep going the other sites from those. In fact, the one that we took out of the park because it wouldn't get used enough, half of it was slid into the main compactor a month ago and as a repair.
I think the right thing to do, the right way to go about it is, I mean, do we really need it within a mile of, nobody has it that close, is to get with the mayor and talk to him about it.
And all the compactor sites, we pay rent for them, the site itself.
Well, we reimburse them too. I mean, it's actually free in a roundabout way. They pay, the cities pay for the employees, right? They pay for the employees, but we reimburse them somehow.
That's what the rent is supposed to do.
Yeah.
Rent.
Yeah.
They're supposed to take the rent money that we have to pay.
And pay the employee. It's a roundabout way of,
So we're paying for everything.
yeah.
So the employees are city employees.
They're city employees under their city program and we pay rent.
Yeah, pay them.
And that's the contract he's working on
Yeah.
to try to clean up, because it expired about a year
1978.
ago.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so work on think about, at least I'm for trying to work out an option to close the Prescott. And can you get with the mayor and tell him and talk to him, not tell him we're closing it, but talk to him about it and see how they feel about that. Another-
Sugar Valley and Tanglewood both own their equipment.
They own their equipment, yeah.
And
Lynn Valley too, yeah. So all the lakes, they've paid for theirs and they've got theirs.
In Linn Valley, do we haul their containers for them though?
Yes.
We do,
Do they pay us to do that?
But they bought 2 containers.
yeah.
in the fleet.
They bought everything for it, so.
Two they put in the fleet. Same thing.
And
with
can you
Tanglewood.
explain how how we do that? I mean, are we making continuous trips down to Arcadia like 2 days or 2 trucks a day?
Go ahead, Al.
Yeah, at a minimum, we haul.
Is there any way that we can make that more efficient?
You guys asked me several times.
You did.
about the walking floor, and I know of an expert on the walking floor. You can ask him all those questions. He used to pack.
So I guess what my question was I thought it was, I think it's just, tell me if I'm wrong, but that's a lot of driving, a lot of hauling, and a lot of road time. Is there a way that we can, since those are already compact, when we bring them or when we pick them up, can we dump those out and then push them all into one big trailer and make one trip a day? Or would that not be beneficial?
We could.
You think it'd save you any time?
But you're talking about building a special setup, buying the walking trailer. You're talking about investing.
Well, what if you just had one of those
An end dump,
An end dump,
what would an end dump do?
with like a, what are they called? Yeah. Like, so say we had a big damn concrete floor and we dumped everything on it and then we just used a loader and pushed back that semi trailer out to it and pushed 3 loads into one big semi trailer and took it down there instead.
Yeah.
Or are they harder than that to get out of the container?
Well, no,
I just think that's a lot of road time and a lot of wear and tear on equipment.
I don't think I'd use an end dump because there at the landfill, it's so unstable. Somebody would turn that over.
What, at Arcadia is what you're saying, where you dump?
Yeah,
Is there any other operations that do it any certain way? And I know when I went my commissioner thing, this was something that I think every county has a problem with the recycling thing, and I don't think there's any really good way to do it. I mean, unless you guys know, I mean, that's what we were.
What do other counties around here do?
Yeah, what?
they
Burton
use,
has a walking floor that I've been wanting to go down and look at a walking floor.
What does Garnett do?
they're located in one place though. I mean, they're not doing what we do.
So they actually have,
Everything comes to them.
they have contractors that haul their trash to them, right? It isn't a county, it isn't free
Right.
to the county employees. But I just wondered what Anderson County does. I don't know what I know where it's at, but I don't know what they do.
I think they have a regular landfill.
How many tons does does a compactor hold of trash? Do they call it a cube of trash or something?
One of our receivers,
Yeah.
anywhere. It kind of depends on the situation. I mean, you get wet trash in there, it's gonna weigh a little more. They generally weigh between 5 and 9 ton.
So we get quite a few cubes, if you will, on one big semi
Yeah,
trailer.
we could.
Weight wise, you could, I don't know, volume wise, what would happen to you, but the weight wise.
Well, in time, just to unload it and reload it.
Yeah, see, that would be the drawback because we would say a man, I send a driver to Lacine, he comes back, we dump it on the floor, then we have to reload it.
That's what I'm gonna say, that's time
So,
consuming.
yeah, and it takes, if you leave the landfill, go to Arcadia, it takes 45 minutes.
How many trips a day?
We're making a minimum of 2.
Is that with one truck? Or how many trucks we have running that?
We have 2 trucks that go to Arcadia.
When's them trucks need to be replaced?
Kind of up to you guys.
I mean, are they on their last
One
leg
was
or how are they
17,
doing?
we replaced one in 2017, the other was 2016 or 15.
Yeah, 60.
So they're relatively new.
Now, do you pick up one like say here at Mountain City and take it direct to Arcadia? I mean, that's the way it works, or Lacine or wherever you go get it, you usually take it right then?
Yeah.
So you bring an empty one up and
Yeah.
drop it off, pull that one out, and then put that one in place and go for it? Yeah. How long does that whole process take?
If you
Change
go to
one out.
Lacine, it probably, to go to Arcadia and everything, it would take a good, I would say around 3 hours probably, by the time you got everything switched out.
And I'm just saying, I've never seen it happen or, how it works, but I guess what I'm visualizing is like just like a loading dock like this, like a concrete slab or something that, that you guys dump that container on, take it back, do whatever. And then we just have a truck that literally pushes. I mean, does the trash stay together when it comes out of that thing? 'Cause it's compact pretty good, isn't it?
He actually pulls it apart to push it into our compactor to.
Yeah, you'd have to, you'd have to tear it apart and reload it on the trailer.
Can you look into maybe a couple other counties, Jackie and Raul, and see how they're doing theirs as far as if we wanted to make this a full landfill, what would the cost of that be? Is it what?
Not just CD, but the other.
Yeah,
Well, you're talking permits and everything else.
I know that.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Miami County had it at one time, but.
They got rid of it?
Didn't they? I mean, I think they did. I think down there by Henson,
Yeah,
they used to bury it there.
yeah, but I thought they was somewhere else now.
Here, right?
Yeah.
And they stopped it because of the cost years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, well, they have to be lined too.
Oh, they have to
So
be,
title deed has to be lined. They have to pump the methane off of it.
yeah.
Maybe we are doing it the best way. I just,
He has,
a lot of driving.
I know
Well, I mean,
Deffenbaugh pumps some methane.
everything
over
was-
that city and sells it.
Do they sell it?
That would be the ideal
Wow.
situation.
Tied into Kansas Gas. Their line goes right through there and they sell the methane off that trash.
You know, Lacey had that old dump right up there at north end of the town there. Well, and I see cows on it, but I don't see anything else on it.
It'll save.
I wonder, do you think you could get?
Gas-powered cows.
How many compactors or bills could you get in one big semi-trailer, 52-foot trailer, do you think?
they had a walking floor to get it back out.
Or, yeah, whatever. I mean,
He said you ran close to 100,000 if you pack it in there hard.
could you get
But
I'm just trying to think.
You're talking about equipment now, and you're talking about building a floor where it's below and you can dump it over the edge, pack it in and stuff like that.
So you gotta you gotta unload it, and
Pardon?
you gotta unload everything to load it back up. And, I mean, the time consuming to go get that container, bring it to Prescott, dump it, reload it, pack it, and then haul it down, would it be more beneficial that way? I don't know, I don't know the answer. It doesn't sound like it, I mean, it might be, but.
I think the only way you could improve it is if you replace some of these compactors with more modern that can pack it tighter.
How full is Arcadia? I mean, is it something that's just endless to what they can continue taking it down there? Or where are they at? Does anybody know?
Oak Grove,
Growth ones?
there's also a second place which we don't use, it's Iola. So there's,
what do they charge us to dump a container?
A little over $28 a ton. We're contracted for that.
Yeah.
What their gate rate is, I'm thinking it's around $45 per ton. If you were just to take a load up there and then.
Try to dump it.
Yeah. So we're getting a cut rate on it.
Are we one of the only counties that go there?
Oh,
So there's several other counties that do it. So if you guys can just look at that and see if there's we're just looking at way to save dollars and be efficient. So tell us a little bit more about the equipment. How much equipment do you have, or what's the next page? Let's just go through your pages so I don't cut around.
This is a picture I took. I know you guys are wondering every once in a while why our boxes are so light. This is a load of styrofoam that we got from IPC.
Mm-hmm.
And we do get upwards to 4 loads in one day.
Okay.
And it weighs nothing, but it fills the container fast.
What is IPC?
And this is free?
No, we actually charge for that, but that.
Well, look, yeah, you still got all it.
The
That's a
concrete
$10 load.
$10.
Yeah,
To dump?
because styrofoam doesn't weigh anything.
Yeah.
That's probably 800 pounds, so
Is
that's,
there any way we can, I mean, they're a pretty big company. I mean, that's kind of really a kick in the head to us.
yeah, it is. I mean, we're
What is that?
charging them $10.
Concrete plant.
Concrete,
what-
yeah,
okay,
fab.
okay, I'm-
Fabcon.
Oh, yeah, Fabcon.
Yeah.
the other thing about that was about a year ago, 2 years ago, the state came in. They were dumping that in the CD and they threw a fit, said we can't dump foam in that CD.
Was that the time when you all were down in the creek and everywhere else trying to fish it out?
So that's the reason the foam is being separated out.
Is there any way that's recyclable? I mean, for anything or
I would have to look into it.
just for them? I mean, I wonder.
I mean, how would it be if we put some kind of restriction or price on it to, Fabcon. I know they're a taxing entity here, but they're a big company and
To
we're
be
getting
honest with
hit.
you, I'd rather just not take it because whenever we do go to Arcadia and unload this, sometimes it doesn't come out of that truck and our drivers have to stand back there and dig that stuff out.
You said it's 4 loads a day sometimes?
Yes, we have had four loads.
Is this something that we could talk to their plant manager or what do you guys?
Well, we're getting it from a hauler, local hauler.
Oh,
Well, we could look into not taking it from, but we'd want to tell IPC or Fabcon as a courtesy if we're going to consider that. Just take it to Arcadia and don't worry about it. That would be the problem.
or could they rent a dump? I guess we don't have enough dumpsters for them just to rent one from us.
Do we?
Well, that's
Yeah.
what this
How big of pieces are these? How big is it?
They fit in the bag.
yeah.
They
A lot
break
of
them,
it, they
put them
chop
in
it
there?
down.
Is that why, do they do that because that's what we require?
No, it's convenient for the guy that's hauling it. That way it's not blowing all over the place whenever he's.
How thick is it? What is, do you know?
pretty thick.
Is it,
Do
it's,
you know if it's big sheets or what is it? when you start?
Well, it's all broke down.
it goes in between the layers of concrete, does it not?
Yes.
Yeah, it's probably about like
Is it
that.
like a flat sheet?
It's a flat sheet that they put in between, yeah.
Comes in 8x10s or?
Oh,
what?
no, you're talking, there's
could-
80-foot.
Whatever the
ones,
building's
9-foot, yeah,
Okay.
the panels.
You would-
I'm not sure, how, individually what they are, but that's how, that's what they.
I wonder if there is any use for it besides that. Would help them out, but I don't see why if we're losing lots of money on the deal, and they can just drive it on down to Arcadia, I don't see why we couldn't. So think about how we solve that issue.
And this next one is, I took a couple of pictures of our 40-yard receivers that we do put on our compactors. And some of them are getting pretty rough. You can see on this first one, it's starting to eat the metal off the front of it.
Can we sand them down and patch them up?
Possibly, I don't know.
What is this?
The big box.
Yeah, it's our receivers that we put on the compactor.
Just a thin sheet metal over it?
That's what my guys have been doing. They've been going inside and putting a sheet of metal inside. But
MIG welding it in or what? Welding it in?
they just bolted it.
All
Yeah,
right.
but
We
it
have
works.
in
I
Better County
mean,
that welds? I mean,
They've done JR.
you get JR, I know JR builds them for, Wes. I mean, he's built all kinds of those trailers for Wes.
How much do these cost new?
the last ones we bought were 5,500 apiece.
So I think we
But
should
I'm
patch
sure
them.
I'm sure they've done that.
Yeah.
The next one is just a photo I took of another one
Okay.
where the sides all rusted out. That black area is actually a hole in the side of one of the
Okay.
containers.
He made a lot of money out of it.
So, but we've never had them welded, sanded, repaint them or anything? So they would last if we put another Rust-Oleum paint on them and patched them up
Well,
That's something we could have.
for a while. I mean, trying to get all the use we can out of them. Okay, what's the next? Hydraulic cylinder leaks.
yeah, this is our 953 cat.
Okay.
That,
It's down there the whole time.
yes, it runs every day.
Uh-huh.
And at the top, that's how many hours are on it. I asked my operator to list everything that he could find wrong with it. And this is what he listed.
Is this Joe verifying this?
Mike Nation come over.
From,
Yeah, Mike talked to me about it this morning.
Isn't this ain't that old, is it? Or did we just deal with something like?
It's a
this year ago?
2005.
2005?
I thought we had 2 of them or something.
We got a 963 with the road department. In fact, it's down there right now.
Yeah, we're using that.
Did we buy it new?
Pardon?
Did we buy this one new or what?
No,
Used.
that's part of the problem. They had a lot of hours when they bought it. About 5.
7,700 hours for a dozer isn't a lot of hours. I mean, they may overhaul it, but that's not a lot of hours. I can show you lots of them sitting around. I'm not saying you wouldn't have to overhaul it, but
Well, I meant,
That's-
we didn't buy it new. It had like 3,500 hours or 4,000 when they got it.
So, how come we haven't had these fixed?
I I wasn't aware of what was going on. As far as, I knew it would have overheated. But the last one that we had, it did the same thing. The one we had before we bought.
Right.
In the summertime, it would overheat.
Is it in a dusty area? A lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
It probably needs a radiator blew out too. I mean,
Yeah,
it's something.
yeah, we had to clean the radiator.
So that's why we have a mechanic there though.
Yeah, but currently it's got an oil leak into the water too, so.
That's,
They're trying to figure out where the cooler's located.
$70,000 machine is what we're gonna be paying new for, or for a used one.
I think we're looking at, to replace it, if we replace it with a new one, you're looking at 300, I would guess.
So this one though, what are we doing about these problems?
We've got Foley, waiting on a quote back from them.
So is that because our mechanic is incapable of doing this?
We're gonna fix everything we can, but if it's beyond what we can fix, then we're gonna have to get a price quote from them for that. Mike just started looking at it Friday,
yeah.
so he's still trying to figure it out.
All right.
And the next one, this is our equipment there. This is the mileage and the hours that are.
This skid steer, this 2007, it's got 1,515 hours. Is that the one that came out of, because it wasn't being used at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which semi, didn't we just buy one of these semi trailers, trucks?
Well, I said 17, he's got 18. Freightliner.
Yeah.
And
Didn't one of them just come here a couple, 4 months ago?
no, that's road crew.
Oh, that's the road crew.
These are the ones that just pick up the.
Oh, I
containers.
thought we used, never mind. Well, that doesn't make sense because we wouldn't be able to take them all
There's
down.
two skids, there's the one came from the shop. One of the reasons I switched it down there is these guys were trying to push this stuff with no shield. This other one's got a glass case around it, so when the goo gets sprayed, they're gonna.
Yeah. No, I know. I watched them. So you just use these in the bay there when trucks dump, and is that what you use the skid steers for
Yeah.
mainly?
Yeah, the newer one,
Mm-hmm.
bigger one, we push in the solid waste with it.
So have you been down there?
No.
You should take a trip down there to see. It's a big building, and they used to back the big trucks up. I don't know if they still do. I know when Ryan had the business up there in Lacine, and they would knock a top off or knock a door off or something. But anyway, you just dump it on a floor. And what was the reason for that? It had to be that way because and then the skid steer would push it into our compactor and then compact it.
That's a 2-yard compactor.
Yeah.
When we lost that, I mean, do we still get the trash from that dumpster or that service?
No,
Was that a huge price, or, huge, was that a lot?
Yeah.
Lost?
Absolutely.
Dumped it in the building
Yeah, they dump it in the building.
and shoved it into what?
Yeah, it's on a concrete floor.
Pardon me?
There was a,
2-yard compactor.
there was an item where
So they dump it on the floor and then they push it in.
and then they turned it on.
Yeah.
Or,
That trash cover that word?
Commercial.
Yeah.
Commercial.
We had a commercial vendor here in Linn County. Ryan Walker owned it for a while, one of them. And then he sold it. And then did it go away, that company?
waste management, yeah, and they sold the waste management.
But does that company dump on you guys?
Waste management?
Yeah.
Every once in a while.
They go somewhere else?
Yeah.
Miami County, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's, what, is
The
it
only
cheaper?
commercial trash we really get is from ECKR.
Okay,
That's pretty much it.
okay.
Unless we have like a C&D load from Duncombe or some other commercial.
So on these, so you didn't know about the condition of this Cat 953, and you found out about it. What about the maintenance on these vehicles here, your skid steers and track loaders and?
I didn't bring those records with me.
No, but have you been keeping up? Because,
Yeah.
I mean, those guys drive twice, 3 times a day.
Right.
It's easier to be a driver instead of an actual operator where you get out and you check the fuel, the fluid levels and everything else,
Yeah.
and do some echelon maintenance on it to make sure it's just the basic needs. Instead of they come in and say, hey, it won't run anymore. It's out there.
Well,
It's on fire.
yeah. Oh,
Is that 05 ready to be replaced sooner than later?
I would like to get it replaced, but I'm sure that,
I mean, is it safe driving it down the road right now?
yeah, it's really roadworthy truck.
And these were roll-off trucks, right?
Yeah.
How are you doing on your maintenance? How do you know maintenance is being kept up with?
That's the drivers. The drivers are responsible for their own maintenance. And
Or do you check? You're the boss.
Yeah, they tell me that, hey, I'm gonna service my truck today. So I'm only gonna be able to haul, say, one load or something like that. And we do keep records there.
So they change their own oil and everything right there?
Yeah.
They do it or Joe does it?
They do it.
So what's Joe do then?
Joe is my recycle guy.
He doesn't do any mechanicing?
Very little.
Okay. For some reason, I thought he was a mechanic as well.
Nah, we actually don't have a mechanic.
So what happens when you have a breakdown? You have to borrow somebody's?
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense.
Now, who out of the landfill runs the maintainer, or the grader down that way? Is there somebody?
That's Harry. There's two of them right now. Well, one of them's Tom Dennis and the other one's.
So that's where they're stationed? then?
Yeah, because they were running from here.
Okay.
Or running.
I just knew somebody told me they came from that area and I didn't know.
We actually moved those and then we put one in Centerville because they were running from Blue Mountain and the one at Parker. So we have half of them are remotely located at county sites.
Is there not any federal grant money for this dumpster recycle stuff? I mean, that we can apply for?
For the trailers, we were successful, but I don't think the dumpsters, I'd have to look at that. The question for shade is when we think of that.
What's this next one?
This is a letterhead from Terracon. It explains how many cubic yards we need to remove of dirt and what we need
That's
to
what you were
fill.
asking me earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I said we'd gotten a report, we just hadn't converted it to a contract.
What's the overall budget for landfill? Do you remember? Cindy, can you look it up? Yeah.
I do, and I remember we did have a line item in there for the new cell, if I remember right.
I think we did, because I know we've talked about it. I don't know if we did it or not.
But I was gonna try to write up something, and I guess I need to do it sooner than later, but to try to tie the airport runways in, or not runways, in front of the hangars, and make the contract where they could do a little bit, I mean, we had the money set aside from the sale of the hangars to build this taxi, or whatever you want to call them, maintenance runs.
Mm-hmm.
So if we did them both and contracted out, it would be more lucrative than just one contract. It'd be more work and I'd probably get a better bid. But we were gonna do option A, option B and see what we got. And if it's too much, then we'll just have to do the old fashioned way and pull all the road crew down there and dig it. John Black did most of it last time with that
Yeah,
D6.
sure did.
And what are you wanting to do at the airport? I didn't understand that.
Where they're putting the hangar sites, we're gonna put asphalt in front of the hangars.
Do we have any hangars sold over there? I mean,
We
anymore?
have 7 of them sold,
We got several of them sold.
7 lots.
7 lots. Yeah.
And I think they say they're waiting on us before they start building the hangars, but I think.
I'd personally think they ought to show us something before we spend more money myself. I mean, if
I
they want
honestly
it.
think
I mean,
they got the tax bill and decided it's in the city limits. So they're getting billed city and the county.
what I'm saying is I would like them to see that something.
They're already a year late. They told me last year.
That they are actually going to do it before we actually go and build the roads to it is what I'm saying.
But they told me they were gonna have.
It would be, I would think it would be more beneficial to them to have the buildings built and then do the roads, because that way they can't tear up the roads while they're
What
building.
I'm saying, at least we know we're
If we're guaranteeing them the road,
yeah.
But the flip side of that is if you go ahead and put the road in, maybe it would sell the other hangars, but we have some interest in those other lots right now. And we've been taking the money from the lot sales, putting it aside to build that road so they don't have to pay for it with tax dollars.
I think we need to
Yeah,
have them.
it's
I think we need to hold their foot to the fire a little bit before we end up going and spending money on the road myself.
But I think we need to tell them too. Say, look, you build it and we'll build you a road.
You build
We've already told them that, but you just need to reinforce it that, hey, look,
hangers and we'll build you the road. I mean, that's,
because I guess he's been over there, the one's been over there talking to him.
if we need to put some gravel down or something, I'm not opposed to that initially for building, just for muddy purposes or whatever, but yeah.
He wouldn't want to put gravel.
Well, whatever, I don't know, which, to me, I don't care. Land
Well,
Osprey.
they'll surely put some kind of base underneath the blacktop before they do it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure they would.
Just like that.
Jackie, wouldn't you have some kind of base underneath your blacktop before you do it? I mean, whatever you decide to do it.
Well, when we talked to Peppercorn, did a study over there, it said we had to pull out somewhere between 18 and 2 feet of material and build back because that stuff was such slop and mess. But it's a big job.
So it's gonna take a lot of money for us to do what we're gonna do for, if we go do it and they don't have to build their own.
The kicker of it is the material we have at the landfill, we need at the airport.
How come whenever we built that runway
We got off the subject, yeah. It's all right.
Joe Pointer came to me and
Yeah, well, from what I was told, Andy actually knows way more about it because he was on the contract too. But instead of taking
it down,
it down,
he brought it up.
it went over. So you had an airport out there that you wanted to replace because you couldn't see the end of it because of the hills. You can't see the end of it because of the hills.
I've actually had pilots tell me that, you know, we got the fueling system there, but I've actually had pilots tell me that we got Ottawa and Nevada, there's places around here that we're not gonna get a whole lot of fuel service because of what's around us. And I know nothing of what I'm talking
The
about.
only thing we got going for us
Race car
is
drivers.
we're cheaper, we're way cheaper on fuel right now. So, because I had to profit on it, and we're still cheaper than everybody else.
Are we selling a lot of it?
We sold 2 tankfuls, which was like 12,000 gallons.
A year or
No, since we've been selling,
since how long?
probably 6 or 8 a year, I would say.
All right.
Pardon?
What is the price of that ton of
I want to say around $3 an hour. I don't remember.
All right, let's get back to where we're back to trash. We got sidetracked. That's okay. So Al, tell us about the recycling because, you know, is it improved? Because it was once we didn't take paper, once we didn't take cardboard, or maybe we did take cardboard the whole time. Glass. So now we're taking just about everything.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then what are we doing with it? We just piling it until it gets to a certain amount, or what are we doing?
No, Joe, that's basically his job.
Okay.
He goes out, he gets a trailer, he brings it back, and then he processes it. He bills the majority of it, except for the glass, of course. He'll dump that in an open top. And then we have vendors up in Kansas City that take our.
So you have to dig it out of these trailers. I mean, you actually have to pull it out.
They're in bins. They're in 1-yard bins.
Those are the bins you got,
I
right?
see the trailers, but I
Yeah.
didn't know how it comes out. That's what I'm
When I
guessing.
first got here, they were just dumping on the floor, right, and then had a
Yeah.
hand pick it.
Yeah.
It looked pretty miserable.
Yeah.
So what about the plastic bottles, which was always an issue that we talked about because if they left the caps on them, there was an issue crushing them.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I never really would have ever thought of that. So how are we doing that now? Is any different?
No, we're still having to physically take the caps off of them.
But how can you do that with a whole county? You're telling me Joe comes down there and unscrews caps?
Well, yeah.
Some of the
Can't we just stick a knife in them or something?
Well, we probably could.
It would be a lot faster, but I'm just saying, I can't see how we can get ahead of that. I mean, we're paying Joe. I'm not criticizing what we're doing. I am criticizing what we're doing, but seeing a guy just looking at big piles of, because I know how many plastic bottles just our family uses. I can't imagine the entire county, the people that want to recycle and over half has got lids on them or whatever. And Joe's faced with that challenge.
Recycling, it's just,
And you don't make any money off the
we don't make no money.
plastic, do you? No.
Make any money off recycling at all, just a good.
Well,
deed.
we do, on one of these sheets.
Is it enough to pay for our costs though?
No.
So, I mean, we have to do it because it's a good deed and that's
It's
what
a
we're
good
supposed to
deed,
do.
yes.
Yeah.
Some of the counties are not taking the caps off, but the downside of not taking the caps off is it doesn't compact as well. And the other thing is sometimes the operator in there, when you go to crush it, it shoots that lid off across the room like a bullet. But some of the counties recently were telling me they don't take the caps off. They just crunch.
So should we just crunch it or take the caps off?
So what, it goes in a machine and you're crushing them? and
Yeah,
just-
baler.
Does it bail it? Is that what it does?
Yeah, we use a vertical baler.
Is there any type of grinder? It would sound like a grinder would be better. Just grind it up in plastic,
Good question.
you know? Then you wouldn't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
Just chew it up and just load the truck up and go. Newspaper, we're taking newspapers.
Yeah.
And how do you keep it dry? Because I know I can imagine it's not worth anything wet after a couple rains.
Yeah. What we do is, we'll put them in Gaylord boxes. And then whenever we get a load, we'll put them on a trailer, dry van trailer. And then, we'll just ship it to Kansas City.
Now, do we get money out of the paper, or does it make that?
It- It's actually gone up from last year, because last year we would sell a trailer load of recyclables, and we were only making about $500. And, this year it's almost doubled. So,
Isn't it
prices are.
we have to do
It
too?
used to all go to China, then China stopped buying it. And I think they're buying it again. But that's
What was our budget? So $597,000 goes to waste management. Okay. And that's for everything. And there's no grants in that at all, right? That we know of?
sometimes we get a grant. We're working on a couple grants right now to try to get another trailer or two so that they can just take one, swap it out, take one back.
Right.
Which would make it a little bit more efficient, and the schools could have them sitting at the school.
Okay.
I know when I first got here, we were loading trucks up with dirt and then that guy that owned the truck was selling the dirt to individuals. We do away with that, hopefully.
Pretty much, yeah.
I actually got charged for that one. I'm like, what? Getting free dirt and then charging me?
Yeah.
My tax dollars loading it?
Hey, let me ask you this question. This is the compound, right?
No.
This is the compound? Yes. So is the compound completely fenced in? I heard once that we had some fence down and that wasn't a good thing because people were going in and dumping on days that.
Don't you have mounds and you can't get up through it?
Huh?
Isn't there like big dirt mounds and you can't get through it?
Yeah, everything's fenced in.
Everything's fenced in, we're good?
Good.
And which cell are you dumping in now?
We're going for cell number 5.
Which one's that? Okay. And this is the one we're filling up. When we get another one
Yeah, we'll have one more. It's kind of in a pie.
further
shape.
back?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll cut out of there and brand new.
Yeah.
So right in here.
Yeah.
Okay. Will we make a entrance there to do anything or will we still
We'll
come
probably-
through?
Yeah, because they're going to have to run across the scales anyway, so we'll probably just,
Just keep going?
yeah, just make a road back.
Where's
So
that
what's
something?
this, what's these?
That one's noxious weed,
Yeah.
and that one is the old loader shed. Whenever this landfill was in
Uh-huh.
production, they would park the loader in that.
What do we park in it now? What do we do
We're
with it?
just using it for storage right now.
Do we have stuff in it?
Yeah.
And we got secured or is the gate secured when you leave?
Yeah, there's a fence all the way around it.
Okay.
Do we still utilize that as an impound lot?
No.
Okay, good.
And what goes, I'm
No,
sorry.
go ahead, you're good. I just
What
want
goes,
to know.
what's going on here?
That's a pit that's right behind our landfill.
Is people fishing there?
Yeah.
Is it on our property?
Yeah, as far as I know.
It's public walk-in, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we own the strip?
So they're not going through here to get in, right?
No.
They've got their own entrance? Okay.
Don't we own across the road too? All that?
Where do we own at?
We own all that too, don't we? All but that.
Fishing,
Yeah.
Kansas Fish and Wildlife.
Yeah,
That's all walk-in too, right?
So anybody can go there and fish? Okay, cool. Okay. So Al, I asked you a lot of questions and what do you need for your operation?
better loader. We need something a little bigger, really. I mean, that 953 is just too light for what we're doing, and
It's had an overheating problem since the day that.
Jim, this is kind of your expertise, isn't it? Equipment?
Oh, I've been around it a minute.
You know, I have too, man, and I'm not going to start bragging because mine's way, way back in the 1700s. Tell us about what you think you need, what you'd like to have.
But the biggest item would be that loader.
How big a loader you wanting?
Like a 963?
Yeah, either a 963 or maybe.
I just sold one across the street. I did. Before Wes moved in. Sold it for 16 grand and it operated.
Oh, jeez, killing me, dude. So 963 or 970?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he has been putting money aside.
Special equipment or?
Budget from, instead of using the capital outlay, has been putting it in a fund to replace that.
So how much money is in it?
I think it's about.
Do we know, I mean, of course, we're not ready to do anything right now, but if we sold the current one we had, the 953, what kind of money would come of that?
I'm guessing 50, but they gotta fix that overheating problem first. And it's been there since we've had it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Has it ever been addressed properly though?
Well, they've looked at it, blown out the radiators and tried, and even Murphy Foley's looked at it a few times.
What do they
And
say?
it works kind of, well, it kind of works out that that's where we bought it from, through Foley. So this time we're going after it a little bit more thoroughly. We're gonna fix what we can and then get them involved. Try to get them to warranty it a little bit.
So when are we?
I mean, 7,000 hours on a dozer. I mean, there's a lot of guys buy them at that. I mean, you know, and run them. I mean, farmers and things that buy them from construction companies. And not that I'm saying that's a perfect situation, but there's a lot of guys that run them with that many hours.
Well, we're getting an estimate right now on all the stuff needs to be done to what we can do or what we can't.
But you're saying it's not big enough.
Yeah, we need a bigger machine.
It doesn't have enough weight.
Yeah, it doesn't really grind the material.
Because what you're using it to drive over the top of the material and pack it down, right?
We're in the process of taking that D6 down there, leave it down there and see if that will help. So they were supposed to transport it.
Does it have special tracks on it or how's that?
It's just regular trash.
Just regular?
I've kind of been keeping an eye out for one of those that are with like a sheep's foot on the front that would break the stuff up.
Right.
But I haven't been able to find one.
So as far as your building maintenance and anything, is there any issues down there that we need to know about? Is machines that you need replaced, not big ones, but like tire machines, grinding machines or anything?
Didn't we just get a tire machine?
The tire machine, we just got one actually through Kansas Circle.
Right.
A year ago?
But what I was gonna say was his machine that he uses to quarter this stuff in pieces,
Right.
that was purchased by the Lake Region.
Yeah.
And it is tired.
Yeah.
So will they replace it
I don't
again?
know, we might look at a grant
What's
and
that?
see if we can do it.
Let's ask them. Why not?
The bad thing about it is it's Lake Region, and one of the other counties calls up and says, I want it, it's gonna go.
We'll give them the old one.
But nobody wants it. Yeah, nobody wants it.
Yeah, the blades alone on that machine is $1,500.
Oh.
I should replace the blades on it.
Do
Have we
use
replaced
that tire machine down there a lot?
Yeah.
Do we use it to take tires off of rims that are brought to us or no?
I don't know. What do you do with the one with the rims on them?
We take them into the shop and we have a smaller tire machine that breaks them down, removes them.
We actually got some very good tire machines off Kansas surplus, have never been used, it came out of the government. So we're in pretty good shape on
Good.
those.
So I don't have any more questions. Do you guys got any questions on? Al, thanks for coming in. Wasn't to crucify you, it's just to get to know what all goes on down there and if there was any big needs. And
Yeah.
now we know that you spend $590,000 a year.
He missed a couple of little topics I'd like to hit him with.
Go ahead.
Real quick. The bike program.
Oh, yeah. We do have the bike program. We're collecting, I would say, close to 100 bikes a year.
This is where the bikes are collected from the sites and they go somewhere, but they can't come back to Linn County, right?
Franklin County, and then the lady down here.
I'm actually on that board and I see they're not meeting, but I'm
Yeah.
getting some emails from them,
Okay.
as far as getting the, gathering them up, Stottlemyre.
Is this the ones that they go to prison or something to
They go to
recycle?
Franklin County and then
Okay.
they take them out to the state.
Ellsworth or somewhere.
Ellsworth when they get
Ellsworth.
low. And, it's a great program, but people, I don't think people utilize
Do,
it.
do we get any back as far as the county?
The lady down there, what's the ag building, she's the one that is the coordinator that will take the application. and-
Okay, so how does the public get one of those?
Gotta fill the app out.
Yeah, you gotta
Yes.
fill out an application.
Where do they get the app at?
Uh,
On our website? Okay.
Do
And then
people
they-
actually do that?
Yeah, yeah, we'll bring them back.
You stay off of it.
You have to pick 6 or 8 of them up and draw back, so they are bringing them back.
Okay,
Passing them
good.
out to families, but
Good.
we've got a pile of bikes down there right now.
I seen, Lacey had a few the
So
other
what do
day
we
too.
do? Do we make one halt, one trip and get them all over there or what?
Yeah, we kind of slowed down because of COVID, hauling them over there.
Yeah,
But
they-
we have a trailer, we fill up, haul them over there
You take the bikes yourself to,
to Franklin
Franklin
County,
County.
drop them off, and then they have, one of the big containers, and they put them in there, and then when they get a full load, they haul them into
So what else was the other one? You had something else.
Yeah, show them tell them about the monitoring system we have for the groundwater.
Oh, the wells? Yeah, we have, ground monitoring wells. We have a total of 9. We have a couple up here, and we have a couple here, and then we have a couple here, and then we have one that's way back here.
who comes and tests that for us?
We contract that out because it has to be done. It has to have a seal from the,
State certified lab.
yes.
Yeah, you have to hire someone that, you did.
How much does that cost us? Just
Just
roughly.
I think the last time it was around 5,000,
And that's
I think.
per test or per year?
No, no, that's all our wells.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to do it every 5 years.
Every 5 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we had to do that for 30 years. And from what I've gathered, this next test will be the last test. If everything comes out good, then the state will say you can abandon your wells. So we'll have to just go in and have somebody
Did you need something? Okay, okay.
just fill the wells in, and then we're done. We won't have to do that anymore.
Okay. That's it? You got anything?
I don't have anything.
Al, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
I had to ask. I hadn't seen you but twice, I think. I try to stay away from you down there. I was like, who is that guy down there? But thank you. Thank you for everything you do. Chris, do you have anything? So you're gonna work on
The mill?
the meal and the other one, the museum. Okay. And get back to me.
We've talked to them before, but it's been a long time. They were just leaving them in Loveland. We got dang good from KDHP. They can't- Yeah.
This year, I was looking at. It's their budget when they.
You can mention it if you got an item.
With their grant for their tax dollars, it's hard to tell. It's for-
See what we can come up with.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I was gonna talk to the, Bourbon County guy, slip down there and see if he
We're
wants.
wrong on what the health department, that's the true figure there
He can put 100,000 pounds
for the budget.
So we'd have.
We was wrong on the other one. We had figures here, $200 and some thousand, but that is a true budget.
That's the budget. So what I was giving you earlier was their actual tax income. But I was actually giving you 2 for 2020, so I had pulled the wrong year. But that 407, and that would include the money they're getting from grants as well.
Okay.
That's what,
Yeah, so I think I was confused about what you guys actually wanted.
407.
Yeah, 407 is their do have one more thing for you guys.
We're supposed to do something with that too, right? For approval for Gary
What's that?
on the jail.
No,
He
no, no,
wanted that.
no. He's just warning us that it's coming.
Okay. I thought.
But you haven't received it yet, have you? The bill?
Okay.
Can you just take it? Because you're going to get a copy and I'm going to get a copy.
All right, so I have a resolution here. It's for surplus property. The Linn County Rural Fire District 1, 6 spray tanks and frames.
This is put on what, Purple Wave or what? Yeah.
I think so.
Is that yours? Spray tanks?
No, Rural Fire.
Real fire, okay.
It's a resolution 2021-10, declaration of surplus property. It says 6 spray tanks and frames. I guess picture of there, they're wanting to sell it.
Dispose of it.
Well, I just need to make a motion that
Yeah. You allow that?
we're allowing the declaration of the surplus property for resolution 2021-10. 6 spray tanks and frames. I make a motion, we allow them to do that.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Anybody else got anything? I'll make a motion, we adjourn. Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye.